And welcome to the first emergency stream, blood. We saw Carlton get absolutely bashed up. 8-11-59, played 17-13, 115 Collingwood. What an insipid and pathetic performance that was tonight by Carlton FC, or as I call them, Museum FC, Disney FC, Square Pegs Round Holes FC, and now we can call them Cucks FC, because all we do is just sit there and watch them get pounded from pillar to post for about 2 hours. Tonight was the first time in 25 years of my conscious eyes going to the footy that I left early. An absolute embarrassment. I actually felt embarrassed to be a Carlton supporter tonight. It was an absolute pathetic performance. There were some young kids out there tonight that were trying their heart out, their guts. They were giving it their all. But their senior teammates were meek. They were... I don't even know what the words to describe these players anymore. You've got Charlie Curnow out there who's looking like an absolute jobber. It's all about Charlie, isn't it? Mr. Hollywood himself in the prime lights. He's got the celebration packages like he's just come off 2K15 or 2K25 now. Knows he sells all the badges. You do, don't you? TDK. Unsighted, this bloke. Our best player out there tonight was probably Zach Williams. A lot of scrutiny, but I thought he was one of our best tonight. You've got kids like Carroll, kids like Cowan, Ollie Hollands, the blue healer, who doesn't stop. And then you've got Doherty, who can't hit 15-metre kicks. You've got Wiedering missing 20-metre passes. So tonight, we start the emergency stream. The emergency meeting. This will be every week after the game. We've got a crew, we've got a panel. We'll pull no punches, just like our team. And let's get them in. Welcome, boys. How are we?
Lads.
Dead.
How are we? What do we make of today or tonight's performance? Snapper, you want to start us off?
Yeah, it's only right.
All right. It started before the game, right? So 3AW, they were taking calls, and I wanted to ring up to say all these past players of Carlton, the legends, are saying keep Voss, but they don't give a reason as to why, right? So my call was going to be, give me and the members a reason why you want us to keep him, because I can list a dozen as to why we shouldn't keep him. And they had their presenter in the cheer squad before the game, and this cheer squad member, her name is Mary, who is woke, wearing a fucking rainbow scarf in the cheer squad, because that's what the club is all about these days. It's not about winning games or premierships. It's about fucking rainbows and unicorns and fairies and all this shit. So she said that basically, I'm a disgrace. I don't speak for the members, and I'm not a real member, along those lines. So then I returned serve, and I said, well, typical of the cheer squad, agreeing with the club. They don't want success. They're all delusional. And 3AW's posted it up on Facebook, and she's getting fucking torn a new arsehole on Facebook and on Instagram. Nobody, except for one bloke who Mars and I know, his name's Craig Anderson. They're the only two fuckwits that are actually, well, Mary's one of them and Craig's the other, that are actually getting ripped into, but they're the only ones that are like defending what she had to say, or she's defending herself, and Craig is backing her up while everybody else is tearing her to pieces. And I'm thinking to myself, this is what's fucked with the club. You got the cheer squad tonight allowing Collingwood people to chant in our bay. The cunts were fucking missing. It was empty in the cheer squad tonight. Some of our members didn't turn up. And then, you know, you got Collingwood, who are taking the fucking piss on the ground with us. You got Tom Mitchell, who hasn't played in God knows how long, just doing as he please. We've got Dacos running around fucking doing as he please because our tagger got dropped and omitted because somehow he's not good enough, but Akers and Doherty, fucking they can get games, right? We've got people saying that Ollie Hollands is no good but tries his guts out every week. Cowan tonight, unbelievable. Zach Williams gets hammered week in, week out, played a great game. Jesse Motlop, he gets hammered. And he played a decent game tonight. He was pretty fucking good. Like, TDK, you know what, Mars? I can see it now. He's not worth 1.7K. He's probably worth maybe 1.7 million, sorry. He's probably worth 1.7K. That's about it. He's so fucking shit.
You know what he's worth? He's worth 1.7 million lira. That's what he's worth.
He's fucking worthless. Shit.
Worthless. He's a jobber.
Pito tonight Pito was the best ruckman tonight out of all the ruckmen. Yeah. He was unbelievable. And I've always said it. When we were on fire, it was Pitanet that were like, I'm talking back in 2023 and 2022. When we had our good times, Pitanet was the key to it because when he does the hit outs, it's to our advantage. Where TDK, he's fucking shit. I'm watching him tonight getting out-muscled by Darcy Moore. Cunt, you're fucking taller than him. Put your body on the line. But no, once again, Darcy Moore doing as he pleased. You got Charlie Curnow, who's fucking high-five. I can't believe the behind-the-goal footage that Fox showed of him high-fiving two Collingwood players while we're 10 goals down. And you got the supporters who fucking yell, fucking, I love you, Charlie, and want to suck his fucking dick because it's Charlie Curnow. Are you for real? These blokes taking the fucking piss. Taking the piss, man. And next week at Marvel, I'm so glad we're playing at Marvel next week because those players ain't fucking getting away with shit. I tell you that much, mate. I tell you this much, boys. Next Thursday night, it's going to be on. It's going. They're going to need the fucking riot squad there to stop us members from fucking giving them shit. And you know what? Michael Voss, that fucking coward, when we get pumped, he won't face the members after the game. He'll be like a little cat and go beneath the tunnel away from the members so he doesn't fucking cop it. And I tell you what, those mate, boys, I knew we were going to lose. I had a feeling we may win, just pull one out of our asses, but I knew that we'd probably lose, but not like this, man. Not fucking like this.
Bo?
Next, please, because I'm getting fucking pissed off. I'm fucked, honestly. This club,
keep going, Snapper. Keep going.
No, this club, mate, this club is fucked. And I've got Collingwood supporters, you know, that are going, we're surprised you're still here. Oh, fuck. What do you want me to do, mate? You want me to leave like some of your fucking mob? You know what's funny? Collingwood are flying, yet their end was fucking empty. And they want to talk about our supporters not turning up. Mate, honestly, this club, and they're dancing. They're fucking dancing at quarter time, half time, three-quarter time. They're playing Sweet Caroline. You know what's not sweet? Sweet is fucking when you're winning. Not when you're fucking losing to your rivals, man.
Sour Caroline.
Sweet fucking Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. Oh, my God, man. This club is fucked. And it's, you know what? I listened to the president, and I said this to you, Mars. The hard questions were not asked to the president. And I know it's all, you know, I know there's limits. Now, fuck the limits. If the president is not willing to answer the hard questions, you don't do the fucking interview. And you go out there and you go, you know what? We had an interview lined up with the president, but he didn't want to answer the fucking hard questions. Put him out there. Fucking expose him.
I must say that Terry was put on the spot. So, yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't matter, mate. You fucking walk off. You walk away. Walk away, mate.
He came prepared. He came prepared, the president. So,
Yeah, fuck the president. Well, he's up in Sydney at fucking Bondi sipping on fucking margaritas.
I think there was a president's luncheon or lunch or a dinner.
Fucking, he can go back up to Sydney. Fucking, he can join the Mardi Gras up there. That's what our club is. Fucking woke. Rainbows and fucking rainbow scarf like Mary in the cheer squad. You know, and I'll give credit to the people that actually went on 3AW football, especially one bloke who turned around and said, what, you've been a member for 15 years when I've been a member for 55 years. To fucking shut her up, man. Like, what the fuck's wrong with these members we've got, bro? It's all about how many years I've been a member for. No one gives a fuck. No one cares.
Bo? We'll go to the next one. What do you reckon? What was your overall synopsis?
No one go. I'm pissed off. I'm just pissed off, man. Like,
I think Snapper's pretty right. It's like our members for years have just been really content with our performances. It's really appalling.
It's horrible. It's you know, what can you do? That's the club that we follow now.
Yeah, like we just have people who are happy with mediocrity.
Well, you know, that's what it is now.
Who's the oldest in this chat? Who's the oldest?
Where?
Probably you, mate.
In this chat right now. Who's the oldest by age?
You're looking at him in the middle.
How old?
Mick?
40.
40. All right.
Yeah.
This is the old man, right? How old are you, Rich? 57. 57. You ask him what the club used to be like when he used to go fucking Princess Park in his teenage days and how it's run now. Yeah. It's a fucking disgrace, mate. He watched men play for this football club, run this football club. Fucking men. These days, it's fucking woke. It's a disgrace.
I'll tell you one thing, guys. This is what they've lost. The arrogance. Okay? We would go to Princess Park, any game, not even think about losing. Losing was a no-no. Okay? We would go and say, how much are we going to win by? That's how arrogant we were. How many points are we going to win by? How many goals are we going to win by? And we always would say 10 goals or 12 goals, 72 plus. We never, ever, ever thought that we're going to lose, they're going to beat us. No. We went there with arrogance. And I'll tell you now, all these clubs, they are laughing the way we are operating.
Yeah.
Because they know if we're back up there again, we'll kill them all. We're going shit and we're still up there. So just imagine we go back to the way we used to be, arrogant, had a president to tell the AFL to get fucked, did not care, did what he wanted to do. If he wasn't happy, he'd tell you, I'm not happy with your performance. That's how it was. You cop it on the chin. Whereas now, you cannot say a word to the player. You got to shut your mouth and say, bad luck, there's always next week.
That's the world. That's the world we live in now. That's just
the world we live in.
Yeah.
If that's the world we live in, I'm sorry, but you cannot run a business and expect members to dish out anywhere from $100 to $1,000, example, if not more, for a membership, and expect to pay the players money to perform like that every single week. Like I said to you, mate, growing up in the 80s in Princess Park, there was nothing like that.
It's just different.
You heard it. You heard it from the old man, boys. Like the stories that I hear, and Rocco would be the same age bracket. This club, it's broken, and like he said, John Elliott. That the stories I've heard when Vince used to say, John Elliott used to smoke, and they used to say you can't smoke, and he'd be like, "Fuck off," and they
You
used to
can't do
fuck
that
off
now, though.
because he did what he wanted to do.
You can't do that now, though.
No, we know that, but it's the president, the
Yeah, I know.
strong
It's
presence.
different.
We don't have that. Robert,
different era.
But we're weak.
It's a different
We
generation,
don't.
mate.
No, I get that. I
30
get that.
years.
But the club, the club needs to be strong again and go.
It comes back to arrogance.
Arrogant. Be fucking arrogant.
You've got to be arrogant. Look at Collingwood. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect example. Collingwood. They were like us. They were shit. Okay. You had Eddie Memoir.
Yeah, back in the early two.
Put him back up there.
Yeah.
He did what he had to do, and he moved out. Whether they got rid of him or he decided to finish, but he did his job. He got him up there. And like our president with Richard Pratt, he got us back up there. But what happened after that? No one cared about the club. But where it's Collingwood, the next person that took over, he cared and cared with passion and wanted the best for the club. Okay? You look at the way they play. They're bouncing around, mate. They're like they're on drugs. Hugging each other, helping each other. You look at our men. What were they doing? You tell me.
Oh, ours
Nothing.
are. They're just
Running around like headless chooks.
Not even. They're just walking now.
They don't even care.
They were telling Harry O'Farrell off at 3/4 time, the defenders, the young kid. They were telling him off.
Who was?
Apparently, McGovern was giving him an earful.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw that.
No, it
The
was
last
just
contest
before
where we conceded just on
the last
on
quarter.
3/4 time.
It was
Wait,
what's his name?
Waitering as well.
Waitering. I don't know
Yeah.
who he's ripping into.
Yeah.
So that's what
Both
we
Melbourne,
need.
Waitering.
We need our senior leaders, our senior players, all right, ripping into these young kids.
Yeah, but it's just
Ripping into them. Not
just
going
not
there
how
and
it
tap
is.
on the arse, say it's okay. The one
It's
thing I
not
liked
how-
tonight was when Ashton Moy got his kick to goal smothered, okay, they all went over to him and encouraged him and spoke to him, which was good. Because the poor kid felt so shit because they scored a goal from his.
Yeah, I guess it starts from the top, right? It's a couple of weeks ago when the coach was yelling at Bins in the huddle, not the seniors.
Yeah, that was weak. But that was weak. But that was that was weak.
But he deserved it. Bins deserved
Yeah,
it.
but that's why your leaders get though. So players your leaders are gonna copy the same and yell at the younger players. The younger players don't deserve it.
top down. Mick, what did you
Bins
make of it?
deserved it. If you had seen the way he was playing,
Yeah, of
he
course.
wasn't even. He was not even trying. We were on the wing. And you can see him.
Give me one sec. Mick, what did you make of the game?
Mate, I don't know everything that's been said, but I feel much the same way. I mean, some of the things that that I noticed, and I'll be honest, I wasn't there tonight. I didn't go. I didn't waste my time. I was pissed from last week and the week before, basically the whole year. I said I'm not going to waste my Friday night. They're not giving it to me. I'm not going to give it back. So my membership went to my mum to go with my sister. So I didn't go. So I got to watch it on telly, which we get a different perspective of the game. I don't know who else watched it on TV and didn't watch it there. But we talk, I mean, Snapper, I know how much you talked about the off-field stuff. I get all that. I was very much of the belief that was it. The more and more I watch, and especially tonight, the more you get, especially if you watch it from TV. Like, I love going to a game, don't get me wrong, but you get a completely different view of the game.
Correct.
The amount of, the lack of communication, and I mean, I can't hear them on the TV, but you can tell when they're talking to each other and not. But it's getting worse. Our communication is not improving through this patch that we're in, even though it's repeated constantly in the media. Everybody's saying our decision making and our ball use is shit. A lot of that comes down, I think, to the on-field communication. It's not the coaches. That directive that they're giving them when they go out on the ground is one thing. Don't get me wrong. But once they're on the ground, that communication's very little. It's up to them. And when we talk about ripping each other and screaming and yelling in the old-fashioned way, I'm much like that myself. So I agree with that part. We lack that. But there's an extreme to that too. You can't go too far that way. But even just holding each other to account, constructively, not yelling and screaming, getting in their face and cracking the shits, but turning around and saying, mate, that wasn't good enough. Next one, you got to do better, or whatever the case may be. You know, that Moyer one was a good example. I watched that on TV. I screamed at my TV going, he's going to smother that, and bang. You could tell from where I was watching he was going to get too close to him. But to go over and make sure he's all right, it's great. But it's also important for someone to say to him, oi, next time, 2 more steps back. You know, that sort of shit is what I think is not happening. And it's not only the leaders. That should come from everybody. That sort of shit, it shouldn't be up to just the senior guys to say that stuff. If something's going to go wrong or something's wrong, you know, like when there's a fire, it's not up to just the fireman to scream out there's a fire. Fucking everyone in the building should be screaming fire. Get out. You know what I mean? And there needs to be more talk and more communication on field. You can see them all the way. Even when we run in packs, we run into each other. Like we don't know where each other are running. The patterns are fucked. That's all talk.
It's hard watch.
To me,
It's
that's
horrible.
all talk.
Yeah, I agree. And like there was one bit of play today. We're going inside forward 50, and I'm not too sure who was the man running towards Lockie Fogarty, but Lockie Fogarty was going back with the flight of the ball. Instead of protecting the man, what he did was brought his player into the contest.
Yeah.
And, you know, he nearly got Lockie Fogarty, like, killed. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they don't play for each other. You can see it out on the field. They don't play for the coach anymore. It's, you know, Zach, what do you make of it?
Oh, sorry.
Look, for me, the amount of times that we had it going inside 50, we're about to have a chance, maybe we're going to kick inside 50, and it'd end up in a goal for them within 15 seconds. Countless times. I remember there was one. I mean, I love Ollie Hollands. I think it was him running inside 50. He was going to kick. Something didn't work out with the kick, and they've literally gone from their back half straight to their forward half. Countless amount of times that could have happened. Like I forgot when it happened because of the amount of times like that it actually has happened. It was insane. And also, I just feel like sorry.
No, go. Sorry.
There was 2 players for me that I've had kind of my eyes on all year. Charlie and TDK. I thought they were 2 of our worst today, especially TDK. I mean, he just looked like he couldn't be fucked going up for marks today. Really, I really want him to do well. I want all our players to do well, but I'm watching him week in, week out, and it just keeps getting worse. And my thing is, like, how low can you go, really? Like, how low? Do you not have any shame? Like, you're literally not even going up for marks. I know he's in the forward line and that, but, like, I mean, geez. And then Charlie, of course, much of the same that we've seen all season from him.
I thought he was pretty selfish, Charlie.
That's a leader of your football club. Like, he's actually not even scoring goals.
No, but I thought he was pretty selfish twice.
He's deplorable, and he's been horrible all year. He's just not been the same.
When
and,
he
much of it was his service. But I thought his service was okay tonight compared to what it's been the last few years.
Yeah, I agree. I thought he got up the ground a lot. I thought he was marking the ball in, you know, the back flank, and he's just going to get up the ground. Correct.
That's correct.
That's because we play 16 men behind the ball, like Paul says.
Yeah.
We try to rebound forward, and there's fucking nobody there except for Darcy Moore or, you know, Jeremy Howe or whatever.
And you're kicking, you know, you got those shallow entries as well.
I hate the shallow entries, mate. Fuck.
And then the way they kick to Elliott specifically, oh my God.
I know it's Dacos, Pendlebury.
Oh.
It's still the surface. Kick to the space, lead to the space.
Incredible.
And, you know,
but the
pretty
way
easy.
they were running in waves, Collingwood, today.
I thought they were in second gear in the first half, to be honest.
Yep.
Then the third quarter, they came out and just put a hole through us.
Yeah, it was like the first time we played them.
I'll tell you one thing, guys. Perfect example. If you remember, Heath Shaw. Okay,
yeah.
What did he do when he was in the back line? Yeah, Heath Shaw when he was with GWS and Collingwood. What was he doing? He was showing leadership and controlling the whole back line and telling every single player where he fucked up and what he should be doing. And when Weeders did that last year, the year before, and the year before that, you watch him this year, doesn't do it.
No.
They're playing scared. I don't think there's not enough leaders out on the field. We question this every week. I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah, they do.
They
don't do it.
When we're at the game, I'm like, you know, the first quarter, I'm said that's our grand final quarter. That's it. That's all you're going to get.
Who was the person that touched on the talking out on the field? Was it you, Mick?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were row C, so we were right next to the fence, and you were spot on with what you said. Like, you could hear the Collingwood boys, you couldn't hear our boys.
Yeah.
And my mate Julian mentioned that he went to the VFL game against Southport Sharks. Yeah, that's mine. And he goes, before the game, like when the Southport Sharks players were running out, they were vocal and all this. He goes, and our boys, dead fucking silence. He goes, it was like literally a morgue.
Well, Paul went to a training
I was gonna
session,
say,
the past one, the viewing
training on
session,
Tuesday.
and he said it was a genuine library out there.
Yeah.
They play like they.
I mean,
train.
it's only one training session, but I mean, mate, you train like you play, don't you? Or you play like
And
you
he said
train.
they were lackluster, weren't hitting
Yeah.
targets.
Yeah, it's just much of the same thing. I'm over talking about hierarchy, leadership. Just want to talk about games, See, that's all I want to talk about, and we can't. Every week it just leads to the same thing. And as I said, it's a Carlton paradox where more questions lead to answers, or more answers lead to questions. Sorry,
exists. Like, what is it? Like, it's just that they can't be fucked. Is it the whole thing is just directionless? Like, that's what I feel it is. I reckon it's
The
I
conspiracy
think
theories that
it's a
goes
bit too
on.
hard. I think it's a bit too hard for them.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
they
it's
realized
very,
how
very
hard it was to do
laborious.
in 2023, and it's just laborious, and they just can't be fucked doing it.
I think
Yeah.
there's more to it as well. And I never thought this way before, but you look at the people on the ground tonight who spoke this week. Cripper was one of them, who came out and said, there's going to be more people that have to show, however he said it, that are going to show us what the club means to and all that sort of shit. He was fucking horrible himself. So there has to be a part of it that's mental and they're doing not on purpose, but close to. Like, we're already in this hole. Let's fucking ride this shit hole and see how far down we can get. Maybe they are tanking subconsciously. Maybe they are. I don't understand. It can't be this bad this quick. It just fucking can't. There's got to be more to it. There has to be more to it.
The culture.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. It's subconsciously ruining them. Anyway.
There's a toxic culture at the club, It's just, and you can see it filters down from top to bottom.
If they truly were, hungry about winning premierships, they would have got on top of whatever's going on with our list at least a year and a half ago. That they would have gone on top of it easy. They would have evolved quicker. Now we're forced to, again, that reactive that you guys always speak about on the show, always reactive, never proactive. And I don't know if they're reactive or proactive really, but they're always in Kennedy changes. Like, if that's our version of like ruthless, changes, then geez, that's really not going to get us anywhere with those.
Yeah, we're fucked.
I was in the Legends Lounge before the start of the game.
Yeah,
and I was just listening to Peter Dean, and he says we just need to be harder at it. Need to find a ruthless streak in us. Like, you got players like you got 95 premiership players. Legend of the club, right? And then you got Jackson Binns up there, and he's talking away, and you just, I don't know. They don't exude confidence. They don't give you anything to like really hold your hat on and go, fuck yeah, he's my guy, or that's my team. You just go there knowing what they're going to serve up. The hope kills you, doesn't it? You think going there is, oh yeah, we're going to win today, but never had that. I never had that feeling. And if you had that feeling, well, you've got more belief than I do. Like I said, first round, fan cams with Terry, just said, it's round one, you got to sack him, and it was over. I thought the season was over from then. People go, oh, why do you go for? You go because you love the club. I'm starting to resent these players, which I don't want to because, I love my club, love my players. Yep. But he's starting to resent them, when they're putting on performances like that. Like, you got Charlie Curnow, he's been – all right, yeah, you're going to look at the stat sheet and you're going to see he stuffed the stat sheet. He stuffed the stat sheet, sorry. But some of the choices he makes going for goal, like his line, he's wheeling and going from 65. Yes, I know he can do that. But the amount of times that he's done it this year and scored a goal are very little. You know, there's players in the forward 50 that you can look at and go, fuck, hit that guy up. You know, they're just playing for themselves now. It's embarrassing. I think it's pathetic and embarrassing.
It's selfish.
How
It is selfish football.
Is there any shame to just give it a go? Like, genuinely, how low can you go? Like, this is low. Last week was low. The week before was low. Round 1 was low. The elimination final last year was low. Like, how? Like, genuinely, like, do you not have any shame when it comes to the performances? Like, this is a part of their legacy and the club's legacy at the end of the day. Like, what the fuck? Like, do you actually have any shame? Like, where does the buck stop? Is this a reset or reset, get it back, or what were you doing before? You know what I mean? So,
Snapper, I know he's going to go, and I'll
Who,
get
me?
because then I'm gonna switch the roles here because this is what we're doing. And then if you want to come back in later, you can. But I'm going to get Rocco in.
Yeah, you just let me know. I'll be up.
All
He
right,
goes
done.
in bed
Take
watching
care, lad.
through. Hope you're all doing
All right,
okay.
love you, Snapper. Take care. You sick puppy.
Likewise, lads. Take care.
Absolute sick puppy.
Demand more, expect more. This club has no direction,
Hey,
emotion, or spirit.
Just quick.
Very
Oh,
true.
sorry, Rock.
Yeah, go, Mick. Go, Mick.
Did anybody see any of the heat maps tonight? Just curiously.
Fuck, there was heat maps.
I'd love to know Frankie Evans. He was playing a
Cripper
fucking
played.
back.
If you can pick up the square in the middle of the ground, that's his heat map. He did not go forward once. He took one
that,
mark.
sorry?
Cripps. So I'm
Cripps,
not sorry. This isn't singling out Cripps. I'm just saying the game plan that I feel like we went in on. They changed so much this week as well. Like I understand we had a few list changes, but they changed so much start the game, and then couldn't find their feet once that first quarter flurry happened. Couldn't find their feet after it. It was a fucking mess. And I mean that goes back to the coaching, I think. But even someone on field like Cripps, he doesn't go to half forward line at all, not once, and he's an attacking midfielder.
And that's a change that is like, it makes sense, that change, right? It makes sense.
That's where he plays best.
It's not a change that it's like you just do it for the sake of a change. You know what I mean? Like it's a change that I guess has worked in the past. But there's some changes that we make, and it's oh Jesus.
Mate, this bloke was playing Frankie Rasklar Evans down back.
Yeah, I know. Fuck, I saw
the amount of times
he
I saw
put
him in the shot, I'm thinking,
Evans down back, bro. That's it. I laughed. After that, they kicked another goal.
I love what he's done in the VFL. Good on him for earning his spot back.
That's where he belongs.
Come on, man.
That's where he belongs.
Yeah, but where was he playing his best football? Not in the back line.
Definitely
I was
not.
going to say square pegs, round holes.
Square pegs,
again.
round holes.
Yeah, him.
And then he moved McGovern up forward again.
Yeah, he moved them up and forward like 5 times in the whole game. Third quarter was forward. Fourth quarter went back line, and then went back forward again.
It's an
obviously make changes. But like, you've got to make ones that make sense. And like you said, Nick, the one that was supposed to make sense, you think get your captain up in the forward line, maybe you can kick your captain's goal, get us going again. They didn't do it.
Just get him attacking. Yeah, fuck me.
Yeah,
Rocco.
Fucking disgrace, bro. Man, it's a fucking disgrace, man. This is simple, man. This could be one of the worst teams I've ever seen in my life because if you think about it, with the talent we've got in that and the way they're performing, you get 2018, you get those other sides, mate. They weren't good. They weren't fucking good, mate. But this is just effort. Like Charlie Curnow whining from fucking 65 a couple of times, man. Sit back, mate. This isn't your fucking team, mate. Sit back and find a target. Find a target for once, you know what I mean? You're getting efforts like it's just, mate. And then the worst thing I saw was the coach being put in the corner of the coaching box. Did everyone see that?
Wait up.
The naughty corner.
It's in the corner.
Picture.
Wait on the stairs.
I am, and this is, put it up as this is the first quarter. That's the first quarter, guys.
That's the cuck position, ladies and gentlemen. That's where he watches his team get hammered from pillar to post by Johnny Sins.
He's given up 5 minutes in already.
100%.
What is that?
Maybe it's to make a quicker exit down to the boundary line or something. What the fuck is
That's
that?
our leader.
Yeah.
That's our coach, man. He's sitting in the corner.
How many times has he done that?
I don't even know.
What is going on, mate?
Oh, just like
they don't know who's running the side. There's no leaders on the ground. Charlie's just doing whatever he's want. Wiedering's trying his best back there. the efforts. TDK, I don't know. I used to be a fan of his, but he's embarrassing me. He's embarrassing me now.
Spot on.
He's embarrassing me, you know.
I
Mate,
reckon
we
he
had
had like
like
10
Dylan said it,
one-handed
yeah,
efforts.
we had Mitchell there. They had Mitchell, who hasn't played for nearly 600 days, 500 days. He was better than any of our midfielders.
100%.
Brownlow Mitchell.
100%.
But even before we started, look at the selections. Like you said, Rock, you dropped Chincotta and Boyd. They're two of our better defensive players. Why the fuck would you drop them this week? That blew me away when I saw both of their names omitted. Not injured, omitted. They've been dropped. Why?
I heard
between
me and you that Chincotta was rested,
Okay.
but they put admitted on there, so I don't know what that's all about.
Is it from an injury?
I heard that it was just he had a couple of games, he looked a bit sore, and they're going to rest him for a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But that makes no difference.
But of course, I mean,
It's
the
pathetic.
team on the park.
It was a pathetic effort out there. This is the arch rivals, for crying out loud. Man,
We didn't
this
promote
is
it.
This is not new, though.
absolutely
Mars is
pathetic
right.
what they did. They played with us. They played around. We were like, the cat and mouse. They were just playing around with us until they wanted to, and then 3/4 time, they put their foot down. They kicked all those goals, and then last quarter they just preserved themselves again. They played with us, and then we just do ridiculous things. I know they're little things. We're singing that 3/4 time. The people on the screen. Now I see that the cheer squad is having the cheer squad's having words with now supporters. The cheer squad. They're a bunch of fucking just worry about waving your fucking flags, you know.
Mate, there was no one in the cheer squad
Build the
tonight.
banner.
They're the
They got taken
silent
over.
squad. They're actually the silent squad.
They got taken over.
They're
It's more
too
black and
busy,
white
man,
than I
giving shit to everyone and calling them non-supporters. And I've got the messages. That's what they're good for. How about you just worry about doing what you got to do? I'm not saying that's a big issue, but it just shows where the club's at, mate. It just shows where the club's at,
The club's
man.
toxic from top to bottom. In everywhere, the board, the coaches, the players, and the fan base.
100%. And it starts, and you're already getting messages. You got to stick by him, and that. How much more do you have to stick by him, mate?
Yeah,
Like
fuck
this
that. We're
hurts
doing
us,
our
mate.
part. Yeah.
As Paul said, it's patronising when they come out and
It
say,
is.
"Tell us
Back
to
on us
stick
again.
back." It's actually patronising.
And
Can I
did you
jump in?
see? I think Dylan showed me something. So Kerno's already bought out a bloody post that said something like, "Oh yeah, it was a pathetic effort, and we're going to have to bring it up next week. Bring it to the game next week." What happened to this week? And then you get bloody Wiedering, which I love, during the week saying the next 8 weeks about finding purpose.
Yeah, fuck.
What purpose about what happened to the rest of the year?
He
What
must be
purpose
listening
are
to
we
the Justin
finding?
Bieber album.
Yeah.
What purpose now?
He's
Kerno
listening to
post
Justin
game, the
Bieber's
disappointing
album,
effort
Purpose.
from the playing group, you will see a different unit next week.
Two
But why the
10 goal
fuck would it take to round 17?
Next week, 10-goal loss.
Why the
No.
fuck does it take now? And we're not going to see a different unit, by the way, so that's bullshit.
I haven't heard
Go.
from Bo. What's
Go, Bo.
Bo got to say?
He's waiting.
I haven't said anything for 38 minutes. I've said less than what Liam says on a Wednesday. All right. Now, sorry, Liam, I love you. You're awesome.
We
All right,
love Liam.
go.
He's in the chat
Go,
too.
hit
I
it.
met Liam tonight. I met him.
I'm going to mute everyone. Go.
strap in. From start to finish, this had disaster written on it from the start. There's people talking about a response that they wanted from Port Adelaide. What the fuck was that? Now you want a response because we're playing Collingwood. We're playing the top team who know they can thump us. Their fans know they can thump us. And we've got issues in the cheer squad over there. We've got issues on the park. Before we even started, again, Charlie was stuffing around in the warm-up. Again. Right? And he wasn't the only one. On top of that, honestly, we have the rule of insufficient intent. Our entire team should be done for it. Right? Besides maybe one or two here and there throughout the game that weren't too bad. Okay? But they look lost. Now, whether that comes down to everything that's going on to the club filtering through to them on the field, I have no idea if it's that or they just don't know how to execute Voss's plan, or Voss's plan is just straight shit and even they don't even understand it, right? On top of that, we were given a small little window. Rocco said before that, actually, I think it was either Rocco or Mars, I didn't see, that they took their foot off or they weren't at their best for probably the first couple quarters.
Yep.
And then they decided, fuck you, we're gonna go no lube, right? And in that time, we had enough chances inside 50s to actually score and to maybe even it up a little bit and potentially make something of the game. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, literally what happened was going to happen. At some stage, they were going to put their foot on the accelerator and we're done, right? So that's fine, okay? But it never happened. At the end of the day, and this is not just Collingwood, right? Other than North and West Coast, this is how I see it. Every other team has far more skilled players than us. Every other team understands their players more than us. And when I say that, I mean their own system, regardless of what it is, these people understand where their players are going to be. They understand where they can turn to during a game. And so we look lost. We look like we don't even know where anyone is. Okay? Decision-making is a big problem with us. It's the same shit, and it's been the same shit for years. That's why I don't listen to the shit about 2023. There's no point, right? Because the same things come into effect the year after, and now again in 2025. The utmost basics that we can't execute, and as fans, we want to see them go beyond that and actually have a bloody plan implemented that can win us more than fucking 7 or 8 games, right? It's not happening. And for me personally, we talk about culture all the time. I think it is literally, they are all poisoned. That's what it looks like to me. That's how it sounds like to me. It sounds like they've been poisoned from the top and it's filtered in through everywhere. Marzi knows who I blame for that. I'm not going to start going into too many names here, right? But it's the same initials as an old chewing gum that we used to have, right? So that's the best way I'm going to put it. But I'm telling you, this shit that's going on now is not going to get any better. I don't know what people are expecting today. I wrote down what I heard prior to the game. I don't see why they can't back up their talk from during the week. How can you think that just because they talked up themselves during the week and so on and so forth, right, that all of a sudden they're going to come out and back that up? I heard we'll win tonight. I heard they'll show something tonight. It'll be close. Close? What close? What are you talking about? Like, I don't understand.
All words, bro. It's all words.
On top of that, I hear we had a responsibility to show up as fans. We have a responsibility to show up. I'm hearing other fans telling fans that it's our responsibility to show up regardless of how the club is at the moment and how they treat their fans.
We're there.
And regardless of the results, we must show up, right? Where this shit comes from, I have no idea, right? But I'm not going to call myself a pessimist or being negative all the time. But when you're commentating on things that are wrong with the club, I say this all the time, you guys know this, it's naturally going to be fucking negative. And it's going to continue to get worse as these weeks come on, right? That president interview, we can talk about that another time. I don't feel like it's a thing we need to talk about now, right? But personally, I think the culture has been tarnished from the inside. It is ruining everybody in one of 3 ways. Either it's ruined the entire playing group, I believe. It's ruining people within the club that just work there. Not going to say how I know that. Thirdly, okay, we're going into a so-called period of, well, we were going into a period that's our window with our list. And Snapper or the other bloke before were talking about that Carlton used to be this, this feared group, right? You would fear going to play Carlton. You would fear the players that they have. We don't have any of that now. I look at Collingwood's list. I look at other Hawks' list. GWS, name them, Western Bulldogs, even Freo at this point, right? And you can look at them and go, shit, wouldn't want to play on him, right? Or shit, he's capable of kicking 5. I can't look at our team and have any confidence in anything that they do. And if anyone can prove me wrong on that as to why I should, then so be it. But like Rocco said before, these words are always before the game when people get their Carlton goggles on and go, we're going to be all right. We will show up tonight. It's Collingwood. We have to respond and so on and so forth. No, this club is broken. And my main concern is where it's broken from at the top, which is the hierarchy at the top. All the shit that's going on the field, I understand. I can see it, right? I don't give a shit about the fucking technicalities, right? There's no heart. There's no passion. There's no Carlton spirit, right? We have Carlton respects, but we don't have Carlton spirit, right? And I can't see that on the horizon anywhere that we're going to get that view of everybody else, fans, other players, other coaching panels, other clubs in general, to look at us and say, fuck, don't want to play them. I haven't seen that or felt that in years, to be honest. And I think many other people are in the same fucking thing. I'll leave you with this if you want to drag someone else on. If we get to next season and our sponsors are not Brazzers and Vaseline, okay, or something similar, that's all I think we're fucking worth at this point.
Not even them, bro. Not even them.
Because it is a literal fucking every week, and our wins don't even feel good anymore.
No,
I think you guys were talking about it on Wednesday.
Spot on.
It doesn't feel good anymore. I switched the game on tonight. Now I live really, really far away, right? So it's very hard for me to get to games, but it's wild to me that I used to be so G'd up, even when we were kind of borderline shit and you didn't know if you were going to get a win or you're going to get slapped. I still had some excitement. That's gone. That feeling is absolutely gone. And I saw someone in the chat before that we're a miserable bunch or something like that. Fucking oath we are.
Why would be?
Well, we have every right to be.
Yeah.
We expect,
and I'm telling you, I personally think the first change, and you guys were talking about it the other night, about what would you do if you were Graham Wright going into the club. I don't care. Fuck all the sackings. Fuck all the other shit, right? Change the culture. They were speaking about arrogance before. I don't believe we have to be arrogant, right? I don't believe we have to have an ego. We need grunt. So
tell me, Bo, how do you change the culture then? Like you say, everyone goes, the culture's not there. We've got to change the fucking culture, right? How do we do that? Like, what's the first thing we do if you were Graham Wright? Yep. Because I don't know why we keep talking about Graham Wright, but let's say it's him. How do you change the culture?
I would buy an infinite amount of Pepsi Max for everybody.
You know what I would do first of all?
No. I've got an answer. I've got a real answer.
Oh, okay. I thought that was your answer.
And then go for your life, right?
No.
Unfortunately, that comes. I know I said forget about sackings. I meant with the players, right? And trading players and things like that, and delisting and all that. Forget that. It comes the minute he gets in there. If he has a similar mindset about the culture that it needs to be, and look, this is don't get this the wrong way, but for lack of better words, a bit more manly, right? That it needs to have that grunt in there and so on and so forth. It needs to have that hard-ass club about it, like an actual footy club. You know when you walk into a local footy club and you can feel that prick in them?
Yep.
And in the fans as well, when you go to a local game? We need that at our club. And I think the reason we don't have it is because of certain individuals that are in charge at our club who are weak dogs. Right? So we need to replace them with the powerful dogs, with the ones that have prick about them. And then that will change the culture around, because the expectation is one thing, but how you instill that in terms of motivation talks, in terms of how the business is run and so on and so forth. Yeah, okay, we're a great corporation. We're a great business. But in terms of that, we need more pricks in the And when I say pricks, don't get me wrong, like people in the chat, you guys, whatever, I don't mean go in there and berate them every day for no reason. I mean go in there and speak to them. The best way to say it, and look, I don't know how many people follow EPL here, right? We need people like Roy Keane, right? That's how I look at it. We need about 10 Roy Keanes in there. in terms of mentality and attitude. That's what I believe changes the culture. And then everything else can follow. That'd be my first thing to do. Get rid of this weak nonsense and all the rest of the shit and just absolutely reshape that whole thing.
And one more thing, I would just quietly, you got to drop people like Curnow and McGovern. You've got to drop it. It's enough, mate. And that's how you show.
They need a big shock. It's just all too comfortable.
100% I agree with you with those players that have to go.
They need something.
That's how you show your strength, mate. If you don't want to do, as soon as he missed that 60-meter goal that he should have fucking passed off, the second one, I would have dragged him, mate. They accidentally put him as an interchange in the first quarter. There was an emergency. It was interchange Curnow. They had him down, and Dylan goes, "What's going on?" That was probably a sign to take him off because the bloke's a dog at the moment. He's playing like dog shit, mate, and it's running through the whole team, mate.
100%.
Andy.
Just before we go on, Andy.
Go, Bo. Sorry.
It looks like he's going to blow up.
He's going to explode in 2 seconds.
Simmering. He's a pressure cooker.
How's everyone going, firstly? How's everyone? Everyone well?
Good.
All right. I just want to separate myself just quickly from the jumper punch and just put my Monday Blues hat on. And I just want to say sincerely from the bottom of my heart, if you like the Cheer Squad, if you are in the Cheer Squad, if you're related to the Cheer Squad, if you fucking walk past the Cheer Squad, from the bottom of my heart and the Monday Blues heart, I want you to go fuck yourself tonight. And I want you, when you go to sleep, I want you to stay awake all fucking night and think about the fucking Collingwood people in your section, right? Cheering their fucking team on. And these blokes are like our Cheer Squad they're the worst people, bro. And you know what? I'm gonna tone it down a bit and I'm gonna talk on a real level. I think the majority of fans, right, understand that our Cheer Squad are no good, right? They can pretend that they're great. They can have their little cute raffles where they take money off people and I don't know what they do with the money, right? Because I'm sure they don't pay for the goods and whatever. I don't know. They're paying for paper mache or whatever the fuck they use. Right, but that Cheer Squad is just as bad as the players were tonight for allowing Collingwood people in their Cheer Squad, and they're going to turn around and say, "Oh, but it was the Bay next to us." We're sitting behind them all night. There were Collingwood people in there all night. Now that tells me that people in the Cheer Squad have either not turned up and Collingwood people just decided to sit in there, or it tells me that people in the Cheer Squad decided to sell their tickets. And Collingwood people purchased it. Well done. Fair enough. That's cool. But either way, the Cheer Squad is no fucking good. No good.
No, it's no good, Andy. It's no good.
They
should not be in there, mate.
Nah, they're no good, bro. They're no good. They're all show. They're all show, bro.
It's symbolic, isn't it? They've just taken over like that. It's very, very symbolic. Because they're going to take over. They're going to get to 17 premierships just like that.
Mm-hmm. You know what that's like? You know what that's like? You know a Collingwood fucking person coming into the Cheer Squad. You know what that's like? That's like a dog pissing on a tree, barking its territory.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it's like.
That's right.
That's great that they come into our home. It's already bad enough that they absolutely fucked us on the ground, and they've got to do it in the grandstands too. Right? Stand up for yourself, man. And you know another thing, because I saw some of the comments, and I said this before, stop arguing and trying to be smart with the other supporters, right? Right? And just worry about what you got to do, man, instead of insulting now the other supporters. But anyway, sorry.
You know what's
it's
funny?
the equivalent of infiltrating an Ultras area.
Bro.
It's the exact same fucking thing. How do you even let them go in there and start a Collingwood?
Listen to me when I say, right? Listen to me. So you know me with the Legends Lounge, right? You know me with the Legends Lounge and how passionate about it I am, because you know that it's that soccer culture in me. You know, whatever, we don't bring it here, blah blah blah. Well, I like to. So I go into our Legends Lounge tonight. First thing I see,
don't tell me,
Collingwood supporter.
Oh, you knew it. Just knew that was going to.
I swear to God, I went up to the two ladies at the front, the two young girls there, and I said, "What's this bloke doing in here?" And they're like, oh, what? I'm like, you got Collingwood supporters in here. What's wrong with this club? I'm like, do you understand the rivalry? I'm like, clearly your media team hasn't, because they didn't put one fucking post up all week.
It was always
Not
on
They
Friday
put
night.
an
They didn't say what's on
AFLW
Friday
one
night.
up.
They didn't say what's on Friday night. They just said on to Friday night.
What a
Fucking
fucking
brilliant.
disgrace.
Yeah, but where's
right?
the G up video?
Bro,
Where's the
video,
video
no
that
hype
goes
videos,
flash
right?
this, flash that? Only Carlton put one up.
Bro,
Mm.
I went to her and I
Where's
said,
the
why
fucking
is this
official
bloke
one?
in here? I said, why is this bloke in here? I said, tell me why. I'm like, if he's in England or he's in Greece or he's in Serbia or wherever the hell we are around the world, mate, this bloke, he wouldn't even be let in, let alone near the vicinity of there. Right? I said to him, he should be made to zip it up. Don't show it and don't show your scars. Right? She goes, and I just let her. I'll let her be, because she's just doing her job. Right?
Mhm.
So I'm not gonna shoot her, whatever. I just said to her, maybe next time you should have a look. Anyway, the bloke comes up to me. I'm like, because I said to her, mate, I'm like, look at this scumbag like that. And then he comes up to me and goes, a Carlton supporter. He goes, who are you calling scumbag? I said, him. He's like, that's my mate. I said, I don't care. I'm like, you're in my territory. You're in my house. I pay $1,000 a year, right, for this to be all Carlton. This is Carlton related. I don't want no enemy dogs in my territory. We're the pit bulls here. And then I had another Carlton supporter say to me, oh, leave him alone. He's all right. I pay $50 to go get guest passes, and I go into their one. I said, that's their one. This is my one.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want him in my house.
And again, it
So,
happens
you know,
when
this
you
whole rivalry thing.
happens, cheer squad, happens on the ground, happens everywhere.
It's just casuals.
This is the
just
thing,
casuals.
like, bro,
It's
I'm really
weak
young.
everywhere.
It's
Like,
small
bro,
things, man. One
the
thing
small
at a
things,
time.
exactly right.
Small
Exactly
things
right.
just adding up. One here, a little bit there. Oh, they're joking. They do this, you know. They come into the cheer squad. They come into the room. They laugh. They sing while they're in the cheer squad. It's our home. It's our home game, and they outvoiced us.
There was
You know what I mean?
Everywhere. And on the
Hey.
ground, our voiced us as well.
Honestly, I don't want to make this. Sorry, boys. I don't want to make this like a fan v fan thing, because at the moment it's already club v fan. But I'm just like shout out to all the fans who tuned in at home or went to the game, especially, right? Because we all knew what was going to happen. And you know what? Whether you went to the game, whether you tuned in on TV, you turned up. Yeah, like that's all you can do as a
Turn
supporter,
up as a collective.
right? So I love that people still turned up. You know, we cracked 75,000, and most of them were Collingwood, right? And mate, I'll tell you what, as fans, they can't ask any more of us.
No,
right?
Can't put it back on us anymore.
And they've tried. They've tried for weeks now to try. They're just throwing little digs out, right? So I think as fans, we get stronger, right? We should get stronger now, and really, really push and hold this club accountable now.
Yeah,
we have to. As one.
We must.
That's what I said. Is
Can I
the
ask a question?
toxicity in the fans has got to go. We've got to unite as one. As they
Mhm.
say, stronger together. Maybe we should be stronger together all as a
So we
fan
can't
base.
criticise
So
it.
I said, boycott it. Hit them where it hurts. If they have, imagine half of the supporter base didn't go to a game next week. Imagine they didn't go tonight. How much
They'll
money
sell
the club would
$5
lose.
tickets on their
I
Instagram
guarantee-
story. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
that's
Next
what
week,
they're going to make
Brisbane.
$5 on a $50 ticket. They'll lose hard, and that's where it'll hurt them. Finally, they might say, "Fuck me, let's do something." These guys are speaking up. Let's do something
Trying
for
to
it.
get desperate, don't you? What are you going to say?
Can I
Mate?
ask a question? I've never noticed this before, but I mean, you guys can clarify it. Was tonight the first? Now, when they were reading out the names at the start of the game,
Yeah.
I didn't hear shit. for
No,
any of the
no.
names. Even
was
even
the
the
first
bigger
time.
names.
Even Charlie.
I heard
Not
nothing.
even
Yeah,
Charlie,
Charlie,
Huh?
Mr. Hollywood himself didn't get the
Right,
biggest
he's taking it
cheers. He
till
was
now.
the
Is
Bronx
this-
cheers.
So
biggest
the
cheer
question
in the
is, the question is, but was this the first time this has happened?
Yeah,
First
it's
time I've
probably
heard
the first time I've ever heard no player get cheered.
And it had to
allowed
be this. It
cheer.
had to be this one against Collingwood to really
Yeah.
even make them.
Yeah.
They won that round as well, did they?
Yeah,
They
Another
silenced. They
thing.
silenced
Another
us
thing.
so bad.
Yep.
That
You want to know what's the most one of the most? We were in the Legends Lounge, Mars. Remember when at the end after Dean spoke,
Peter
Dean,
Dean, yeah.
right? And then that lady goes, "Okay, let's give one cheer."
Three cheers. No, three cheers.
And no one said anything. And then she had to say it again, and no
Mm.
one said anything. And then she said it a third time, and it was a little bit of, hey. I fed Inkaby was silent when she said it.
I felt embarrassed for him. I had secondhand embarrassment for Peter Dean. You know what? You know what the thing is? Half of those people in there don't even know who he is.
Well,
That's because the people that are on the field get propped up. Charlie gets propped up.
Like, I don't want to make it like a bashing of our stars or whatever, but where were they tonight?
playing
Where was
like
our
stars.
captain?
If you didn't tell me that was stars, if that was the first ever footy game I've ever watched in my life, and you're telling me that guy's paid this much, that guy's done this in his career, that guy's done this in his career, I would have told you, are you sure?
yeah.
Are you sure? Because it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like he's leading at all.
And this was the week they said they'd turn up.
I personally think what Andy said is spot on. This stronger together thing, and you'll see in the chat that Paul said it's a throwaway thing. For me, this bullshit is just another thing they can put on merchandise and sell, right?
Yeah. Right.
This what Andy said is spot on. It needs to come if we're going to start speaking about things like stronger together and so on and so forth, and uniting the fan base, and that it has to come from us. That's a lot of work, but it has to come from our side. And what the club has actually done is divide us. Directly or indirectly, they've divided us because we have, for me, there's three sorts of supporters. There's the ones that are constantly positive and refuse to accept that there's things wrong with the club. I call them Fantasyland supporters, right? They live in Fantasyland, rainbows and sunshines every single day. Everything's great. On to next week. Here's your gold star, right? Then you have the ones that sit on the fence who they know something's wrong, but they still try to remain positive. And then you got people who I call the realists, who when things are good, we're going to praise, we're going to support, we're going to cheer. When things are bad, we'll still go to games, we'll still support, we'll still do all the rest of it, still buy the damn fucking memberships. But if things are wrong, they get held to account for it as well. Exactly. And I think Paul said it the best when he said, and I said this to you, Rocco, it's in your constitution. You hug them when they need to be hugged, and you hold them to account when they need to be held to account.
A nice smack in the face when they need
Exactly.
One.
And they're not getting that at the moment. This club is nice FC.
No.
One thing on the slogans, just one thing. Give me one thing. So, I was just chatting with Paul, whatever, and he sent me this Twitter screenshot. It's actually very true and reminiscent to us at the moment. So one thing I hate, people who make certain and morally charged assertions that they cannot intellectually defend. Any party or community or organization who are heavy on slogans and catchphrases immediately rub me off the wrong way. Slogans are the blindfold of the masses.
Yeah, it's true though.
Very true.
Like, I'm only
it's
young.
A marketing strategy. That's all.
I'm only 19. You know, I've been going to the footy live probably consciously since maybe 2011, 2010, 2012, maybe. I don't think I've ever seen a Carlton team that I can show up week in, week out at the games and say, you know what? We're in a period of consistency here. We're in a period where we know what's going to happen. We might lose a game here and there. That's fine.
No, we are. We're consistently shit.
We're consistently shit, exactly. I've never seen a team that is actually consistent. I'd love to know, obviously my dad's told me, but I'd love to know, is there something so obvious that we're missing, or is it something small? How do we get to a point where we can say, okay, this is a club that's on a path, and they're gonna do whatever it takes? Because I feel personally that a premiership, even if I hate that they word it as a premiership, it should be premierships. It should be multiple. Don't put a label on it. Just be consistently good. Be a good team. And when you're not good, have a place to go to. Because that's what I feel. Just we're in no man's land at the moment. We were supposed to be good. Our window's fully shut now. There's no doubt about it. So
all we know now is what we've got is not working. So they've got to change something, and it has to be something drastic. That's the simple answer. What we're doing doesn't work. I'll say one thing too, and this goes right back to what we were talking about before about the culture. Okay, and I have to go to the older two. Do you remember? I wrote it down here. Do you remember the days when we used to do the family days and the open days at the club? and they'd open up Princess Park, and literally anybody could walk in. You'd walk in, you'd get photos with players, you'd get photos with the coaches. They'd come up, they'd talk to you. There was no mollycoddling of them. They'd have the supporters there in their face, asking questions, throwing, how are you going to go this year? How are you going to do that this year? The other night, and I'll give away where I was, but in a local footy club, they had in Wallen, they had 3 players come down from Carlton. Last minute thing, the club said, surprise, they're coming tonight, who can come down. It was open slather to anyone. A fair amount of people went down from the footy club. It was Lockie Cowan, Charleston, and Jagger, right? All 3 of them stood there with all the kids hanging off them, sort of having a talk with them, talking about the things they do, setting up for games and how they got, to AFL. And the kids I've never heard a group of kids that quiet. They were fully engaged with these players. But that stuff doesn't exist enough for us as supporters. That was a community event. That was open to any supporter that wants to go. And granted, they're 3 young players. But where's that from the club? They talk. I get Lachlan, my son's got a junior membership. There's a Charlie clinic they're running. Charlie's Crew clinic.
Yep.
Now you can apply to go to that. You're not even guaranteed a spot. You've got to fill out a form. You've got to do all this shit. 90% of people are way too busy to worry about doing that for their kids. And even if they do, they're not guaranteed a spot. It's on school holidays during the day. So a lot of people can't bring them anyway. Where's the weekend shit on a weekend prior to the season, after the season, whatever, where you get your supporters together and build that culture from us? Get the social media crews together. Get whatever you've got to do, the content creators. Get them all at once. Get them all together in one spot and, I don't know, get a coach to stand up the front and talk to everybody and take some bloody questions. The problem is... I
took a photo with Adam Bentic.
Yeah, they're mollycoddled. They're treated... And look, generationally, we're like this. And I wanted to say this earlier when Snapper was talking about it. But this is, unfortunately, the generation we're in. But there are still ways to take that dummy out of the mouth. Give them a little bit of exposure to the club, or to the supporters, I should say. Give us a little bit of exposure to the club. There's not enough of that. And when you talk about, Zach, what needs to change, and Rocco said before, little things, join those 2 together. The small things like that, throwing on a freaking sausage sizzle at the footy club and inviting people over for free would go massively for the club. Like, I think that would come across really well. Get some players with some photos of kids, social media, all that sort of shit flies. It looks good. I don't understand why the simple things like that aren't done. That's not a hard thing to do. Or like you've said, Rocco, in the past, we go to the Sporting Globe to watch a game for an interstate game. Turn on a freaking screen at Princess Park and don't charge people to come and watch a game. Get 20,000 people there all together watching a game. That's the sort of shit that'll galvanise supporters and improve culture.
And I've said this where we used to not only be allowed to go into Princess Park, after games, you could go to the social club, right, and actually interact with the players, right? And you could go up to a player and go, "You were shit," and they would take it. I'm telling you, they would take it. And you asked
because they weren't weak.
On Sunday, when David Rees-Jones asked him the question, he said he used to get people coming up to him and go, "That was a weak effort today." And what do you do as a player? You go, "Yeah, all right, what am I going to do?" Right? But that's not even the issue. The issue is I believe as a member of the footy club, the most important thing is I want to feel part of the club. This is my club. This is my Princess Park. And they make me feel when I go to Princess Park like I'm a visitor there. Oh, I pay for this, mate. I don't want to feel like I'm a visitor there. And you're right, Mick. It's those little things. All of a sudden they say stronger together. I'm telling you, the only stronger together is the social media that we all do. That's the only thing that's stronger together, because I guarantee most people don't feel close to the club. It feels like we are divided, separated from it. We don't feel like we're part of the club. I feel like it's them and it's us. Right? That's how I feel.
It's just buzzwords. I just saw a comment come up in the chat. I'm not going to single people out or anything, but one of us says, "Come on, it's 2025, boys."
I think you might be taking the piss.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that doesn't
I
make
think
any
he's
sense.
taking the pitch.
Whether
He's
it's
taking the
2020,
P1.
yeah, I was going to say whether it's
Yeah, he's taking the
2025 or
P1. He's just rage
1998.
baiting. He's rage baiting.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, whether it's 2025 or 1998, we can still apply the same things Rocco and Mick were talking about then can be done now.
There's no reason not
You know,
to.
it's got
No
nothing to do
reason
with
not
the
to.
year. It has nothing to do with that.
He's got two
club
first
can
names
still
anyway.
implement those things now. It's got nothing to do with where we're at.
Oh, he's not taking the
Wait,
piss.
there you go. He's not taking the piss. He was being serious. Now I'm glad I
Even
am.
if you think about stronger together, like that
Makes a
came
lot of
in
sense.
straight after we lost to Brisbane 2023, right? Straight away, as soon as we lost, stronger together. It doesn't mean what it was supposed to mean. It means don't criticize us. We just lost. Oh, that was wrong. We might do wrong things in the future, but don't criticize us. Don't criticize us because God forbid you criticize a club, an organization that has done absolutely fuck all pretty much since then. And Andy, you spoke about, I think on the Monday Blues, might have been last week or the week before. You said this club hasn't evolved since we beat Melbourne. Beating Melbourne was fantastic, but in the long stretch, obviously we haven't evolved enough. We haven't actually been ruthless enough or been proactive enough to change. And it's too late now. For me, I just think like you've passed the point where you can actually make change in a way that can help us. Now we're scrambling.
I agree.
Even when you have your successful years, you still got to evolve as a club, as Andy
You
says.
say it always, demand more.
You've got to keep going.
Yeah.
Like I'll look at
Fair
Boston at the moment, case in point, and we won our title, and then we've gone on a run. We lost second round, and then what we've done? We've nearly gutted the whole club. We've traded out all the pieces, and now we're just resetting our it's not a full rebuild, but we're just in a kind of a holding period until maybe next season, and then make the moves again. Sometimes you just have to consolidate. So on that prelim, we should have consolidated and go out, look for some players, bring in some premiership experience.
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying. Like,
times
bring
we
in
said
Luke
that.
Parker, bring
Yeah.
in a McIntosh, bring those players in, mate.
Yep.
They're a dime a dozen, mate. There's so few out there that win premierships. Like, how many players are there in the competition? There's only 23 that can win it on the day in 1 year. If you can pull one player from a team, Luke Parker, mate, this bloke's, mate, genuinely go down as Sydney Swans like legend, mate. Bloke's a champion. You know what I mean? You got Vlosten, you got even you got these Rioli, you got all these types as well. You can make a move. I know that they, you've got to sell it to them. You got to sell the dream. But 2023, fuck. Let's we're 5 goals up, and then just from down there we've just I mean, even last year we did well, but I don't know. I just think the club's in the wrong. Like, I don't know. They've lost me. It's embarrassing.
Muzzy.
From pillar to post.
Hey, listen, just before you go on, bro, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the team thing here, unlike fucking Carlton, right? I'm going to do the team thing here. I'm going to go back into the green room because I'm going to have a beer, and there's a few people I noticed waiting there. Get someone else.
Yeah,
in,
I'm happy to as well.
and get someone else in. But I'll be back later on. But yeah,
Sure.
keep going, boys.
Mick and Rocco out. I'm subbing yous out.
All right, get subbed out. All right.
Adios.
Out, just like Matt Flynn. No, Flying
What's
Finn,
his name?
sorry. And Zach Williams got subbed out. And who are these people? Anyway, I'm subbing you all out. All right.
He's coming in.
Big Vincenz.
Hey.
Vince.
How are you, boys?
How are you, Vince?
Oh.
And Seva.
My favourite.
Vince,
Two
and
champions.
wait, before we go on, just on Mick Maracucci's point about the players in the open days, I've got the evidence right here.
Chief.
I've got
Go
photos of me and Macella when I was basically just come out of my dad's sack, going to the club, and I just want to say something too. And Marcello knows this very well. Me and Muzz and Paul, we used to go to the footy, us three and my dad, and him and my dad and stuff used to go all the time. Memberships, this and that. And my dad's Carlton crazy, like all these sports. They've driven him, and this was a long time ago, they've driven him to the point, and he realised it a while ago, he doesn't love him anymore. He hasn't been to a game since, I think it was Jack Silvani's debut, and I brought him to the game. I've asked him multiple times over the years, would you want to come? He's like, I'd rather not. He's like, they're a disgrace.
Fair enough.
They're a disgrace. And he's seen premierships.
Nothing was going to change before this
He's
game
seen
as well.
premierships. That's how bad our club is. and people don't understand it. We're fucked. We're fucked.
Hey, we're fucked. But hey, don't forget what the president said. Yeah, Carlton community is critically important to us. But he stamps out everything that has nothing to do with. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say nothing to do with. He stamps out any views that don't align with the club's agenda and views.
Yeah.
And then goes on to say that we really need to be honest with our fans as to what we're up to. And non-Carlton supporters love to, what did he say? Love to jump on the bandwagon and wind up a frenzy and all that.
What happened
He's
to
making it
players
sound
like
like they don't want to hear negative, Sarah. You know that.
What happened to players like this guy who bled for the jumper?
We don't have them.
Can I tell you what they're doing?
Say, actually, sorry, I'm going to take that back. I would say the one person that has it in their blood by DNA
is Silvani.
Silvani, yeah.
Right? And to be honest, if he's on the field and then you go and make a comparison for the rest of the fucking game and see who plays with that grit in his face, you can see that he's doing it for this, not Kramer, right? He's the only one.
Yeah.
I can't see anyone else with that passion.
Can I tell you where the passion is?
That's a worry. Yeah,
so we talk about culture all the time, right? And everyone's like saying the culture's cooked and all that, you know. I don't know if you boys touched on this before I jumped on, but I just wanted to touch on it. Charlie Curnow before the game high-fiving the Collingwood players.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did you just talk about it?
Things. Like we said,
say it anyway.
At the start of the fourth quarter.
Yeah. For me, you don't give a fuck, bro.
Nah, you don't care.
You're not there. You're not there, bro. You're not mentally there, bro. Your team has its back against the walls. We're a laughing stock.
Yep.
You're the marquee player, bro. You know, you're the guy that sells Guernseys to kids.
Yeah.
And you want to high five the opposition players before the game? Get the fuck out of here, bro.
And Collingwood. Collingwood.
Bro. Bro, what do you mean? He's business partners with the boys. He's business partners with them, bro. No, there's no repercussions because it's 2025, bro. It's 2025. Exactly.
Yeah.
So 2025. What do we expect from players? Do we the one that I like, the comment I like is, what do you expect them to be? Robots? You know, do you expect them to be? Nah, bro. I want them to have respect for their fucking members who have paid their fucking hard-earned money and sitting in the fucking stands and having to see that before a game.
Correct.
The ball hasn't even bounced yet, and you're already telling me that you've checked out mentally. Your mind's not on winning, bro. Could you imagine Luke Hodge running up to opposition players before a game, just high-fiving him on his way to his position? Luke Hodge, bro. And I say Luke Hodge because he's a 4-time premiership player.
And 2 norms.
And went to Brisbane as well and did really well.
And look what he did at Brisbane.
Again, but
for
that's
me,
bringing in that premiership experience.
Exactly. For me, I look at, when I think about culture, I always think about Luke Hodge. Always. And we don't have a Luke Hodge on our team. We don't have anybody even remotely close to the abilities. I'm not talking about playing abilities. I'm talking about capacity to lead. We haven't got anybody.
Spot on, mate.
We don't.
We're in a bad way, man. We're in a bad way, man.
You used to look at some of our players and fear playing against them. We don't have that anymore. They look at us and go, "Oh, we're a chance here. If not, we're going to thump you."
Like, what do you think?
We can't even mentally get one over anybody.
What do you think Jamie Elliott went out there thinking? I'm going to murder this backline.
He had intent with every mark,
Dan
every
McStay,
lead, every kick.
Dan McStay, he showed Charlie Curnow how to kick a goal from outside 50.
Incredible.
Kicked it from nearly 70 metres out.
A couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago on our show, sorry, Seb, a couple of weeks ago on our show, I mentioned the word venom. We lack venom in everything we do. Everything we do is so lackadaisy. We're just going through the motions, right? Get the ball, look for a cheap pass, go long, contest. We look for the easy way, right? There's no venom, even in our passing. Mate, the bare minimum, right? I saw Darcy Moore hit a target. I'm telling you now, it was just a 30-meter pass. That's all it was.
Yeah.
But I don't see any of our players hitting a target like that.
No.
That pass went to an unmanned player like it was just a standard basic pass, but there was venom behind it. And you know what? They scored from it.
Yeah.
They moved the ball quick, with intent, with purpose. Everything they do is with purpose.
Yep.
And we're just so far off it. We are so far off it.
Not only that, Andy, I was saying before as well, purpose, intent, all of that, 100% agree. But they understand where their teammate's going to be 3 moves from there.
Yeah.
They're playing legitimate chess. If they're kicking out from the back line, they already know what the fourth person down the line is doing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't even understand where the next one's going to be. I saw that so much today. Even how many other bloody weeks, and if not last year, and all the other years that we can't execute basics. It's weird to watch where you're looking at your players going, do they even know what's next? Do they know where they want to go next? Are they just hoping that it finds someone, which 9 times out of 10 when we kick it into 50 we are? But it's real. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's scary. It's not scary, but it's a worry amongst the
times
other worries we
even
have.
in our back line. We see our players swarm in, and there's a Collingwood player, a Pendlebury. Always. I saw it in the centre a lot. All our players would swarm in. One ball at the top, off goes Pendlebury. Insane.
What about why are we putting Ashton Moyer in the middle and letting him get mauled by Nick Dacos and Scott Pendlebury?
7. I think he went in about 8 times into the centre bound.
And 3 of those times it was on Nick Dacos. The first time I looked at Mars and I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? You're going to kill the kid.
Where's he playing his best in the VFL level?
And I think Vince, you said it perfectly on Blue Sunday. You mentioned it too. You can't do that to him. You can't these players. They're gonna kill these young players. They're gonna kill them. And Mars has been saying it. He doesn't want any of these young players in.
Let me interject for 1 second. I'm going to make a tactical substitution. Thank you to the lovely Zach Asuni. We got SmackDown tomorrow. Make sure you watch it.
Thanks for having me,
Zach.
Legend. Absolute legend.
Take care, Zach.
Look at this.
I got the call up.
Look at this sick puppy.
Fucking hell.
The squillionaire himself.
Hey, have you got someone else lined up, Mars?
Yeah, I do. Are you going to pop out?
Yeah, I'll pop out. I might pop in later.
All right, done.
I've got to go do something.
Yeah, you go.
See you, Andy.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
I'm in the fatal position.
Turn your phone around onto the horizontal position.
Yeah, go horizontals.
Give me anxiety.
That's better.
I'm in the fatal position in the corner of my bedroom. This is bad. It's bad, the fact that I've actually had to come onto a fan cam of sort. Yeah, this is terrible. This is bad, man. I don't really know what to make this anymore.
What does it say to you that despite getting smashed by 40-odd possessions tonight, especially in the kicking department, and getting smashed in contested possession 135 to 117, we only laid 46 tackles, and Collingwood, who had the majority of the ball, laid 60. And by the way, included in that 60, they had 13 tackles inside 50. Guess how many we had?
3. None.
2. Yeah.
2 tackles inside 50.
We had 1 contested mark in the first quarter and a half, I think it was.
Nick Dacos had 2 contested marks this game. And Charlie Turner had
more than us in a quarter and a half.
Well, that was the other thing. The contested marks was 22 to 7 for the entire game.
There you go. So,
how many did Myercheck mark? Myercheck outmarked the pack like 5 times in that game. Just untouched. How many times did a midfielder clean through us? It was like Jeffrey Dahmer was playing, mate. Just chopped up.
Tom
Just
Mitchell
chopped
rolled
up.
back the years.
Looked
like Brownlow Mitchell.
100%.
And you know what? He does it every time against us. And we still don't learn.
People were saying, side bottom's not playing today. And the system takes over, mate. They just put another one in. It's like a chess piece. They go like this, bang, another one in. It's just
Yep.
it's like clockwork for them. They toyed with us.
To be honest, I honestly believe, because I think, was it before or after the last time we played Collingwood and got beaten? I believe Craig McRae contacted Vossi and sort of wished him, the best and sort of tried to provide a bit of support.
He did.
Now, I reckon at three-quarter time, if you couldn't see that Collingwood had put the queue totally in the rack and went off and were already planning their after-match celebration somewhere, you're not watching the same game as me. They had checked out.
Oh.
Absolutely. If you had have offered those Collingwood players 50 grand each to win that game by 100 points, now they were 60 up at three-quarter time. If you said to them, there's 50 grand each for you, if you can win this game by 100, you reckon they wouldn't have been able to do it?
For sure.
I guarantee you they would have been able to do it.
Yes, I'm pissed off they didn't.
For 3 weeks in a row, that final margin has flattered us. The opposition has allowed us back in and made it look remotely respectable, especially North Melbourne in that first one. But last week and this week, it was just junk time shit.
You know what sucks
and
about
I reckon McRae probably thought, shit, if I don't get these boys to slow up, I reckon Vossi might even just lose his job this week after playing my mob. Serious.
He would have been doing the press conference in front of a black screen.
I don't know about you guys, but if you couldn't tell watching that game that the players have lost all belief, all spirit, all fight. I had communication with Stephen Kernahan during the week. He was livid. And he said, these guys have to find something. They've got to show some fight. Play for that Guernsey. But I don't think he would have been all that impressed tonight. I know David Rees-Jones just came back from overseas during the week because he'll be back on Blue Sunday on Sunday night with myself and Joe and Seba. But he wouldn't have been very impressed at all with what he saw tonight either. I honestly think, even though it's not anywhere remotely the total solution to our problems, I just can't see how Voss can hold his job with smashings like this. When you have a look at previous coaches who have lost their job at Carlton over the years, there's normally a string of 4 losses. I remember back in 2007, Dennis Pagan. We had a mid-season bye, and then we got absolutely murdered by, I think it was Hawthorn by 100 points. I think we lost to Sydney by about 66, Fremantle by 70-something. And then we went up to the Gabba and lost to Brisbane Lions, and Jonathan Brown kicked 10 goals. We lost to them by about 117 points, and that's when it was over. The following day, he lost his job. 4 smashings. Right? Malthouse the same. The very first one of the Malthouse 4 matches was against Collingwood in the game where he broke his the record for the most amount of games coached. We're laughing at something. Am I not reading?
There's a comment about Maloney and his blanket.
Right. Not you.
For the safety
he stole it off Harry Mackay at three-quarter time. Anyway, it's a security blanket, isn't it?
Is it weighted?
It's a safety blanket.
Is it weighted?
Right.
No one knew it'd be weighted.
It's heated.
Anyway, just finishing off. I mean, Malthouse had the same. The first of those 4 games for him was the one against Collingwood where he broke the coaching record. Then we had, again, another 3 massive losses, and then he lost his job after round 8. Brendan Bolton the same. We had insipid losses. You could tell the players weren't playing with any spirit, anything at all. I think we got smashed by Essendon at the MCG. We only kicked about 33 points for the match or something. He lost his job. And Teague and David Teague, again, we had, I think his second last game was against Port Adelaide. We got 19 goals in a row kicked on us. This is the sort of thing you're going to start seeing. We've seen 3 matches in a row now, North Melbourne, Port Adelaide, tonight Collingwood. You watch, if we get beaten up by Brisbane next week, I've got a feeling that the board's going to have to move on him.
They can't sack him yet, though.
They won't do it.
Yes, they can, and put
Yeah,
in an interim, because there's only so much you can allow the club to bleed like this.
I understand.
And time and history has shown us that regardless of what the board says, what the president says, he's got his job till the end of the season, all of that crap. When you start hemorrhaging like we are now, it's something that's unsustainable. You cannot continue to coach a team that is playing such listless, insipid, spiritless football like we are at the moment.
Vince, I'd like to ask you a question. Now, in terms of take away the salary cap era, because obviously we know that fucked the club, is this, let's say, from the Malthouse Ratton onwards, is this the worst you've seen the club in terms of the way the fan base is? It's almost at a civil war, and the way the fan base is with the club.
Well, I think it probably is because, again, it's an accumulation of examples. I mean, how many more times can you keep recycling another coach and another coach and another coach and another coach? We've had 24 years of this. Eventually, the fan base is starting to wake up because of social media programs like this one, like the Jumper Punch, like our show on Blue Sunday, that actually bring to light the real issues, not just sack the coach all the time. A lot of the fan base is now waking up that, maybe we need to sack Voss if they're not playing for him anymore. But if you allow the same group of imposters, that's what I call the board now, not the board of directors, the board of imposters. If you allow the board of imposters to continue appointing people who fail and are not even appointed in the first place with the right credentials or appointed for the right reasons, why would you allow the same group of people to appoint the next coach? Even when they have a selection committee that's supposed to, even when you have a selection committee that's supposed to come up with their recommendation, they go against the recommendation. That's what happened last time. And then they were warned, if you want to go against our recommendation and go for Michael Voss, you'd better put some tactical, strategic people around him because he's lacking in that area. Now, have they done that? No. Clearly not. But if you're going to appoint someone who's already got deficiencies and you can't cater for those deficiencies, how can he possibly succeed? To some extent, I think Voss has been found out. But also I feel a little sorry for him because, honestly, I don't think any coach could do much with that list at the moment. Right at the moment, they are the softest group of marshmallow players I have ever seen, and their behaviour proves it. It proved it last week when you had, an opposition player being patted on the back after he kicked a goal.
Yeah,
You had it the previous week against North Melbourne when no one went up to remonstrate with Christian Cherry after he pushed bloody DeConning into the fence, or when George Hewitt got crunched by a North Melbourne player after getting a hospital hand pass from Patrick Cripps. No one remonstrated. There's no togetherness. There's clearly no spirit. There's clearly no real unity within that team. It's actually been rumoured that there's a lot of fractured little cliques within that group of players now. And a lot of the players that are not getting opportunities are really pissed off that a lot of our so-called, senior players or, the established players that continue getting games even though they're not performing. Why should not Blake? I mean, look, he didn't play his worst game tonight, but how can Blake Acres not have been dropped this year after how he's performed? It beggars belief.
It's a fucking
He's been terrible most weeks.
It's a fucking
joke. I think Voss is continuing to show faith in the senior group, but they keep letting him down. And now they're starting to bring in some young players when the whole team is fractured and basically not playing with any spirit. How can it be of any use to them to come into a side like this at the moment and get crushed? I don't know. But there needs to be some wholesale changes from the top down if you really want to fix this club. If all you're going to do is treat it at the symptoms, you're not fixing the root problem. And the reason why our culture is so toxic, the reason why these players are so soft, the reason why everything is the way it is at the moment stems from the top down. And anyone who doesn't want to believe that is naive or ignorant. And I'm telling you, even our football department is full of people who have underperformed for years and never been held accountable. The recruitment and list management is employed by people who, again, have made some pretty poor decisions over the years and yet, again, never made accountable. Everyone goes on about how great Brian Cook is. Who has he ever made accountable in 4 years for their non-performance? Who? No, but he's a stability CEO. He's someone that just comes and steadies the ship. In other words, he's on $1 million plus a year and he got a nice $4 million superannuation payout and he's about to walk out the door in 2 or 3 months' time. Thanks very much, Brian. You did really well. But from a football point of view, have made zero difference at all to that team.
Go.
Me?
Yeah, are you going to say something before?
Yeah, I'm with Vince. I'm with Vince in what he's saying. The one thing, and I won't keep you long because I've got to go to bed. This club's fucking murdered me tonight.
You need another blanket?
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the wrestling tomorrow. I can't wait. But the prisoners have officially become the running of the asylum at the moment. It's that sad. The narrative for the first 10 weeks was that Voss wasn't good enough. It was him. He's the problem. The players are good enough, and now it's completely shifting now. And people still believe that Voss isn't the guy, and that's understandable. If you don't want Voss to be the coach, I get that. That's no problems. But now the narrative is changing where the players are running the asylum, and they're the problem. And I just can't, I get on the bus back home to get back to the car, and I'm looking on my Facebook and I see Charlie Curnow fucking high-fiving Darcy Moore and Jeremy Howe, and I want to punch the cat when I get home when I see that. Because I never saw Brendan Favola do that ever in his fucking career when he was losing 18 games a fucking year. I don't get it. I just don't understand where we have seen much better footballers come and go from this club that meant a lot more to our club, that didn't treat the club the way that we're getting treated at the moment by some of these players who have the entitlement and the self-righteousness to think that they are so much fucking that entitled. Because it's all good, Tom DeConnie, because tomorrow you'll be able to go to Lawn and get on your canoe or your surfboard and pretend like you're fucking Kelly Slater. But it's all good, Charlie
Fucking
Curnow.
cowabunga, dude.
I just don't. I don't
Fucking
get it.
stirs up, dude.
Because and I've said this for you, it's the priority of our footballers have shifted from being a successful football player and football teammate and person of our football club to now being a socialite and someone who's seen in the society of doing good. No, brother, I want you to go out there and kick a goal. I want you to go and tackle. I want you to go and pace. And I've just got to the point now, I can't believe I'm actually starting to question my loyalty. How can anyone sit there the whole game? I can't believe how much of an idiot I was to leave. I didn't leave early. What a moron! What an absolute moron!
I'll tell you what, the majority of Carlton supporters left at 3/4 time. That stadium looked empty in the last quarter.
Paul freaking left at halftime and left me alone. I'm sitting there by myself the whole freaking game. I was going to kill him.
We've never.
Oh my god! It's like if we're going to go down together, I want to go. If we're going to go down, I want to go down together. But yeah, it's not good at this point here. Look, he's clearly a dead man walking, Voss, and it's sad that we've done this to another one.
Yep.
Another man, another coach, another leader, and to watch him even at 3/4 time, I think the Almost Blues Brothers put that up and he said it's fucking deplorable. And just to listen to a bloke that was he was almost seen as our savior in 2023, to see how we've broken him, that's heart-wrenching. He was defeated. And if we feel this way as 30-year fucking members, imagine how he feels. Look, at the end of the day, he's a fucking employee. Okay, so he's going out there to do the best for the people that have employed him. So he's going to try his best to do it. It's not like he's not trying, okay? But I can only lead the donkey to the fucking water. I can't make it drink. And that's exactly what's happening at the moment. They are a bunch of donkeys that don't want to drink the water. So, in saying that, I think I'm going to go drink some water and some scotch, and I'm going to go to bed.
Have some Trimbuie. Get on the
Beauty.
Trimbuie.
No, piss that off. It's not obedience. But thank you for having me on. It's been a while. Have a great night. I don't know how long you can do this for without breaking your balls. See you later.
Tomorrow morning.
Love it.
Take care, bro. Take care. Hella. Don't kill the cat.
I won't.
Let me out. So I've another super sub, and I've got another super sub in Aiden and Peter V Blue Bagger. Unhinged.
There you go, man.
How you going, man?
Pretty good, dude. Pretty good. I said that Wednesday is going to be a Vaseline job. It was almost there, but it went from this to something like this, mate. Something like triple cheese, mate.
Oh, God. It was insipid.
It kind of reminded me of that game. I'm not sure if you can recollect from 2015. Mick Malthouse's 500th game where he got slashed by 75 points.
715.
Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry, 715th. That's the one.
75 points.
By about 70 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
75 to be exact. It was 120 to 45. I'll never forget.
That's the one. Yep.
Disgusting. Just like tonight.
Yep.
Aiden.
It should have been 75 to 100 tonight, but in the end, Collingwood just put the cue in the rack.
That's
Agreed. Aiden?
Yeah.
Dawn.
I feel sorry for young blokes like Aiden. I really do.
Bro, look. No haircut.
And
I haven't lost it yet.
Turkish Airlines, bro. They should send me off to Turkey, mate. I need new fucking hair.
Hey guys, I got to go anyway, so I'll leave you guys to it.
All right, thanks, Peter. I love it.
Coming in and out. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
I love it.
Thanks.
Thanks, brother.
Get the Paulo in, man.
Where's that Paulo?
He's
Paulo's
laying in bed
mate.
watching it.
He's
Come
got
on,
the phone
Baldy.
again.
Come on, Baldy. Get on.
He's got the phone. Is Renner in here or is he just thing? Should I add Renner?
Is he? If he's in there, yeah.
Where's
Renner?
Morris?
How are we going for lives? How many lives have we got, Mars?
I think we had about 160, something like that.
Yeah.
Where's Renner? Nah, he's disconnected.
Good effort for the first show.
It looks like he's had a spliff.
I was about to say, was that the whole?
Oh, he's got the muscles out again, man.
Is
that Paolo trying to imitate Rocco, or was that really Rocco?
Yeah, no one can imitate Paolo, I'll tell you that much.
You know,
Come on,
Aiden.
I want to hear what Aiden's got to say, mate.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, mate. We're all waiting for you.
The floor is yours.
With a fucking merda. That's what
He's even imitating Rocco now.
No, what do you say to that shit, man? You know, I actually stayed throughout the whole game. Didn't leave, nothing. Even stayed 10 minutes after the siren. That was just embarrassing. Like, I don't know what to say. Like it's the same thing every week. But actually, what I will say is, if you've got a team who embraces the rivalry more than what we do, then it's no shock that we're 21-4 to them in the last how many years? Like, look at all week. Darcy Moore. Oh yeah, like it doesn't matter where both teams are on the ladder. Craig McRae, he even said he embraces it. What do we do? We just post little clips. Oh, ready for the rival. Is that it? Like,
is that what we posted?
it.
That's it.
That's slideshow of photos. Yeah.
They made a final with AFLW.
Yeah.
Our rival awaits. I think it was something like our rival awaits. Almost like, mate, they're ready to basically eat you up. That's the message I got out of that. Our rival awaits.
Yeah,
In other words, they're ready for us. They're ready for us.
You know what's sad? I think someone mentioned that. Someone's like, "Is this the worst than Malthouse era?" This is probably by far the worst because of the expectation that we all set for this group. Back then in 2018, 2019, like we gave them a let off. Oh yeah, they're young. Like we're rebuilding, they'll get it right. But they're not young. We've got the coach. We've got the players there to do something, and we're playing arguably worse than what we did in 2019 and 2021. To be honest,
Aiden, where did you have us finishing?
Oh,
like honestly speaking, without the Carlton goggles, where did you have us?
You mean before the season started?
Yeah. Before the year started, I literally said top 4. I'm like, they're going to get it right. Everything, that's it. And then,
well, you can shake hands with Brian Cook. That's what he said.
No, and then once the season progressed, I'm like, yeah, forget it. No. Even after Richmond, I'm like, the season's done. And people laughed at me. I'm like, I'm not even kidding. The season's done. I saw this last year. Literally. Like, what happened after a quarter time against GWS? 38 points up. We're flying. We're going to win the flag. And then after quarter time,
we're weak-minded. We're weak, man. We are weak. When things are going well, it's all good and proper, but we're mentally weak, mate. That's all it crumble. Is because we have crumbled time and time again. And we've done it again. And every year we crumble, then we get on a run. And then when it gets too hard, we crumble again. If one of our players, have you noticed even within the fan base, right? We lose 1 or 2 players and it's all over.
It's all over.
We all cry. Oh, we're stuffed. Collingwood, not only do they lose players, they rest them also.
And then
there's no difference to their game plan. We are just weak. No. There's no one there to stand up when we need them to stand up. Even tonight, there was a couple of times, when Moya took that mark, I know that he got collected a bit, right? But still, it was a hard fucking collect in that last quarter. They should have punished that Collingwood side for hitting him. Right? They should have been in an all-in brawl there, mate. But they don't do it. They don't do it, mate.
There wasn't one, was there? We didn't
see one stuff. Not one. They should have been. When Dacos at the first quarter, when
he's feeling his back,
right? And they almost stopped the game. I would have put my knee in his back and crippled the bloke. But that's what they should have done, mate. They should have crippled him right there and then, mate. But they didn't. They didn't because they're weak, mate.
Because
I mean that in the best way if anyone's listening about Dacos, But they should have heard him while he was there, mate. Like,
but that used to be Maynard for Collingwood. He would go and start something like that.
Right.
Did you see Maynard?
He spear tackled George Hewitt. He killed him.
He killed him.
The bloke turned into fucking Bron Breaker. Fucking Goldberg.
Right.
It was Rhino the Gore.
That was the only little scuffle I saw for the whole game.
Nothing happened.
And it wasn't even. He was like pushing him. Cripps fucking smash him, man. Hit him. I don't care. You're not going to win a round like, bro. Go and get suspended for 5 weeks. I want to see something. Show some balls.
But they're babied. They're babied from the inside. They're babied by Voss. They're babied from the inside. So they have a weak mentality because there's no prick in them. So when they go out there, Carlton Collingwood, before the bounce even starts, when they're lining up and they're doing the fucking Freddie Mercury, that's when these players should be going up to their opponents and giving them a couple. That doesn't happen.
You know what's another thing for me? I don't know if it's been brought up tonight, but the decision to put Flynn Young as the sub, what the fuck are they doing? Why? If you're not going to put him on the field, just don't even play him. Don't even play him because what's he getting out of half a quarter of footy?
100%.
What's he getting out of it? Play him. Because I don't know if he's but I'm pretty sure he opted for the 6-month contract instead of the 18-month because I think they have an option of an 18-month coming off the mid-season. He opted for the 6 month to obviously prove himself. They're not going to re-sign him.
No.
They're not going to re-sign him. You know what I mean? And he'll go back to Werribee and he'll start tearing it up again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you know what? So a team like Geelong will come along and they'll find him just like they did with who's the guy that they got? Their small forward?
Stengel.
Stengel?
Not Stengel, the other one. Sean Manor.
Oh, Manor.
They'll get it. They'll get him. They'll get him.
He was a VFL player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's played for Werribee.
Yeah.
And he's
We had one from Werribee playing for us tonight. His name was Flynn Young. 2 weeks in a row they started him as a sub. Make it make sense for me, please.
I know
Hey,
that.
Mars, I'll go back. Get Dosh Habibi in. He looks like he's about to go to sleep.
All right, done.
Go.
Hang on, what I'll do is I'll jump off. And do you have other people waiting as well?
No, it's all right. We're good. We're good.
Oh.
No, stay with us, Bo, if you can.
Yeah. No, I was going to say to move on for someone else, but.
Good evening.
Just sit back from your camera a bit.
Hold on.
That's better.
There we go.
Look at him.
Good evening.
What?
Very good.
We should start playing. Oh, what a night. Dun, dun, dun. We should start playing that every fucking game we walk out. But yeah, go, Joe.
That's our team's like the Crown Towers lobby on a Sunday morning. Just checking out. Everyone's just checking out. They're done. Hey, they're finished. The things I saw today. Bear with me. I'm on the Monday Blues special George desk here. So, things I saw. Where is he? He's in the background over there somewhere. Get in, George.
Is he all right?
Get him in.
Get in.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming. The things I saw. Hey, this club's proper finished, right? This club's proper finished. There he is.
I'm broken. Look after yourselves, guys. Try to have a good weekend.
Georgie, hey. Go the Monday Blues.
That's in his start.
He doesn't want it.
Words.
Can't wait for the Monday Blues on Monday night.
Oh,
he's not going to be there, apparently.
Oh, really?
Nah, we'll make
I'll
it work.
jump on
We'll
for
make
him.
it work.
I'll jump on for him. Super sub.
I'll make it work. That was we were laughing. And the worst part about it is actually probably the best part really. I physically got shot on by a bird. And I was still smiling and laughing.
Apparently that's good luck.
Left shoulder.
That wasn't the worst part of my night. I literally got shut on. Physically and then psychologically at the end of the game. It's over. Give me a rebuild. Give me a rebuild. I want to not care anymore.
Blow it up.
Do you think it's at
just
that
like
point?
the Celtics. Do a little mini blow up.
Do you think it's at that point where it has to be rebuild?
Has to be. Has to be. Bro, everyone's checked out. No one cares anymore. No one cares.
How bad, Chera, 3 times we were clean out on the outer side, or there's a members wing as well. We were out, and he just turned the ball over and we copped the goal.
Meant to be one of our cleanest kicks. Supposedly, or went back in Freo,
he was horrible tonight. When he's bad, he's horrible. When he's good, he's good. But mate, he's been down for a few weeks now, and he's just looked out of it.
You should hear his press conference. You should hear his not press conference, his doorstop type interview with Cam Mooney after the game in the rooms. Have a listen to that and listen to the absolute verbal diarrhea that comes out of his mouth. These players, seriously, if they had any brains, they would say, not interested in doing interviews, I don't want to talk anymore, because the more they talk, the more they look completely foolish, because they come out the following week and do absolutely nothing to justify what they've said during the week.
Like those
Or
hostage
after last
videos
week.
at the start of the year. Those
Oh,
after those
man.
first 4 losses. Those hostage
Al-Qaeda
videos. They were horrible. You know what I mean?
I actually shouldn't do interviews anymore. Genuinely shouldn't. I don't know if anyone saw the Charlie one on Channel 7.
Nah,
No,
don't want
oh
it.
my God, I
Punch
need
the
to
TV. I'll do myself $3,000.
What did he say? I want to know what he said.
He said the first thing he said was, we have to get to work.
Charlie.
Yeah, that's
bro,
what
are you
Chera
doing
was
today
saying.
for the
We got to
whole
get back to work.
season then if you have to get to work now?
It's the same line. We've got to get to work.
They're all
That
brainwashed
should
with
not
the
be
same
allowed to
rubbish.
speak to the media. It
So
should be
is
a
that coming?
full media ban.
Them saying
It's all
that,
talking points. It's all provided to them, Seba. It's
Where's that
all
coming
provided.
from?
It's
It's
all
not
smoke and mirrors. The PR department, where else? They get
their media-
brainwashed with what to say, what not to say, and they trot out the same lines, whether it's Patrick Cripps, Jacob Wiedering, Adam Chera, Charlie Curnow. They're all the same. All
Do you
the
feel
same.
sorry for
The
them,
only
Vince?
one,
Do you feel sorry for
the only
any of
one
them?
who came out and said something a bit different, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him a kick in the ass for it, was Nick Haynes.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
hasn't been
last week.
indoctrinated. Because he hasn't been indoctrinated into the shit. That's why.
Yeah.
Look where he comes from, GWS.
Listen, boys, I'm telling you now, Michael Voss is not an idiot. He knows that these guys are not playing the way he wants them to play. The way he clearly wants them to play, and he's always made it pretty clear, is that hard, contested possession and clearance type game. That sort of game that won him 3 premierships as a captain back in the early 2000s when all of that Brisbane Lions side they were all beasts, the whole lot of them. They just crushed opposition back then. But he wants them to play like that. This team is not capable of playing like that. They did it for a couple of little sections of seasons, like the very first season when he got in. After round 10, we were 8 wins and 2 losses. I'll never forget it. We beat the Sydney Swans at Marvel Stadium, and bloody Greg Williams was putting his arm around him and everything. They were all flying at the time. Then all of a sudden the season derailed and we missed out by a percentage in the end. And I think we missed out on the finals after losing the last 4 games. Then in 2023, it all looked like it was going pear-shaped before again. There was a passage there where the players made a pact. Let's give this everything we've got to play the way he wants us to play. And they got to a preliminary final playing like that. That's why Voss has always stuck to that. That's why he continues even 2 seasons later to persist with this type of game plan. But the players have had enough of it. They can't sustain it. They're not mentally tough enough, and they're not even physically strong enough to do it. And with all the injuries we've had to some of our key players, they're just not able to do it. He knows he's gone. I reckon I watched his press conference tonight. He knows he's gone. He's just waiting for them to sack him. His manager will say to him, listen, you're probably never going to get another senior job again. Let's be frank. Right? You've had 2 stints. Once they sack you, you're never going to get another senior job. Can anyone here see him getting another senior job? Seriously? So what he's going to say is, Michael, don't resign because it'll cost you somewhere around $600,000-$700,000, maybe more, because you've still got 7 or 8 games to go in this season, and you've got all of next season that you're contracted for. So just keep trotting out the same bullshit after press conference after press conference after press conference.
Well, Vince,
and eventually they'll give you the arse. And that's what's going to happen. I'm telling you that's what's going to happen. Because the board of directors, the board of imposters, because that's what I call them, the board of imposters always takes their scapegoat and always makes that scapegoat the senior coach and some or all of his assistants. And then they trot out the next messiah. And then, Graham Wright's that man now. All of a sudden, he's going to be our saviour. He's the one that's going to be lumped with all the decisions.
With the poison chalice.
I'm telling you,
it's the poison that Carlton, sorry, Bo, but that head coach.
It's not just a poison chalice for senior. It's not just a poison chalice for senior coaches, Seba. You're quite right, because they've seen 7, 8 coaches go in the last 24 years.
Yeah,
but it's also players now. Players are not coming to Carlton unless they are being offered way overs, like McGovern was, like Jack Martin was, like Adam Sard was, like Adam Chera was, and like Zach Williams was. And they are offered stupid money on long contracts, and they go, oh, well, I'm never going to get that money where I am now, so I might as well go to Carlton. So they're coming over for the wrong reasons. That's why they've got no heart, no spirit. Those players I just mentioned, They don't have any ticker. They don't play for the Guernsey. They don't play like Patrick Cripps, who says, "Get on my back and let me show you the way." They don't.
Can't even do it anymore.
Look, I'm telling you, the problems here are so deep-seated. It's ridiculous.
Given everything,
sorry,
I agree. No. That was really good. I agree with everything you just said, but I want everyone that's in here now. I want your opinion on something based on what Vince just said there, right? That Voss is basically just like it is what it is. You know, you heard what he said. See it out, get your money, sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Based on that,
yeah.
If you're in Voss's mind, or how do you think he's thinking at the moment in terms of the job? Do you think he truly gives a crap about the club and wants to be there to make this club great? Or do you think he's now surpassed? Because at some stage he would have felt like that. Do you think he has surpassed that mindset now and he's literally looking at this as a job only? Or do you think there is part of him that still wants to be a Carlton guy? Because he's a Carlton fan, was he not? Like, I mean,
as a kid he was, yeah.
That's what I mean, right? So does he have it in his blood, in his passion for thinking back to when he was a kid? This is my chance to leave my own legacy on the club that I supported my whole life. Or do you think he's just completely lost all that and this is just a job now?
I think he does care. I think he really does care about the club, or has cared. But what I saw tonight in that clip of him when he's talking to Cripps and saying it's deplorable, you could see it in him. He's broken. He's broken. And look, I don't feel bad for him because he hasn't adapted, but in a way, they've killed him. Because you can't say he hasn't given a fuck about the club, because he has. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, there was a time that he did. Yeah, and I don't know.
But now you can tell he just wants out. He just wants it done.
Yeah. He hasn't got the list that wants to play the way he believes they ought to play.
I think he did at the start. I don't think they buy into it now.
No, they're not buying into it anymore.
They've learned that I think they've learned now that it's unsustainable brand of football. That it's hard to endure for that long and for 23 rounds and then get to the finals. I mean, fuck, it's so taxing. You know, you're playing so many people behind the ball. And then to work back the other way. I mean, you saw it tonight countless times where we got the ball at half back, we look up, get through the middle, then you look up again and go, fuck, there's no one up forward. You got Charlie who's just marked it at centre half back. I mean, where's your full forward? You know
we also struggle.
But Mars, yet again. Sorry, Bo. Go on.
No, it's not much. I was just going to say we also struggle when we get to the middle as well. The indecisiveness in the middle.
I completely agree.
Whether or not we've got something forward or not, good teams can get into that position and hold up the play a little bit or make a better decision until we have an option. We just panic and it goes the other way.
Yeah. Well, we look up here in the headlights. Go, Joe.
But seriously, there's a reason why we are getting the reputation of being the butchers of Saigon Street. Our delivery by foot.
Is there any butchers left?
Into that forward line is just absolutely deplorable. You've got to feel for those forwards to some extent.
Vince, it's all shisha joints now. There's no more butchers anymore, man.
It's just shisha bar.
Wake up! It's 2025, mate. It's not Saigon Street anymore. Like that down there.
Funnily enough, there is still a butcher on Logan Street because my dad goes to him for his meat every week. Anyway,
but where in Brunswick?
No, in Logan Street, Carlton.
Okay.
Anyway,
Joe, got anything?
No. To get back to Vince's point about the game plan, I feel like you need to adapt over a period of time. I feel like that game plan had worked in 2023, but you need to adapt. Like, look at the teams that play now, like top 4 teams, Collingwood. They play in the outside. They got run and spread. I do feel like to a point Jagger would have fixed that. Not everything.
Hey, Joey, you're making me seasick, mate. Where's he going?
Bloke's cookies, bro.
Can you put your phone down and just let it rest somewhere?
I'm going to jump off because my audio is cooked.
All right.
Catch.
All right.
I've got some sick puppies ready anyway.
Go on,
Thanks,
mate.
Yeah.
Thank Look at him.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah, no, because yeah, you need to adapt, and I feel like to a point, Jagger, Cottrell, when he's fit,
Maurizio.
will help that, and Walsh.
Hey.
But at the same time, again, as Mars said, like it's too taxing, man. Like we're playing 1,700 players behind the ball. We've got no one up forward. Like I saw Charlie today clunk it. He's got no one in front of him. Like nothing. And I do think that Voss really cares a lot to a point, but I feel like today they just destroyed him. Like they fucking killed him.
Yeah.
The players, the club, everything. They've just killed. They've just killed him.
And it is
And
sad.
it is sad. I actually do feel bad for him to a point because he really wants to succeed and he really wants to do well. But when you've got players that are just entitled and arrogant, and one that is, let's say it, he's probably holding the club to ransom to a point, TDK, then no one's going to succeed there. Like, look at Collingwood today.
If
Look
he
at
hadn't
that
signed
club.
by mid-season, why is he still getting a gig?
I know.
We were all
I
on
don't
Cripps'
get it.
back. We were all on Cripps' back.
Look, that interview with Graham Wright, if I was Graham Wright, I would have been like, are you going to fucking stay? Are you going to go? That's it. Tell me now. If you said, I'm going to, not, I don't know. Just tell me now straight. Are you going to stay or are you going to go? That's it. Literally, what are they waiting for?
Can I jump in for a minute in
Yeah,
regards
go.
to TDK?
Super sub. Super sub.
All right.
How are you, Morris?
Morris.
Good. Vinny, how are you?
Good,
Boys?
mate.
Good.
Very well.
Terrible.
Yeah. Now, my background comes from commercial banking. Okay, so that's how I make my bread.
Oh, you'd go well on the board, Morris. Another banker.
Yeah. In regards to shutting down why we're playing TDK, yeah, you got to remember, if we lose him to St Kilda, it's all around the compensation pick. If we put a line through him and say, you know what, you're not playing anymore for the rest of the year, you've checked out, you're telling the AFL that you're going to be settling for a lesser pick. Okay? So it gives the AFL grounds on, you know what, you didn't rate him that highly or blah, blah, blah. You let him walk.
Yes. Good point. That is a good point.
And I want to talk about the game plan, right? You know, I do get a lot of good inside info from the club, all right? Around Voss's game plan, that's not on Voss, boys. That's not on Voss. When Voss came into the club and he had his introductory meetings, individual meetings.
You mean when he was being interviewed for the job?
No. When he was appointed coach.
Already appointed?
Right? Already appointed. And he had his, like they have player exit, player ending, season ending interviews, meetings, exit interviews. He had introductory ones with every player. And certain questions were asked. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What type of game plan? All right. Do you see yourself evolving in? They collected all the data from the players, and the coaching group went around with that data and they built a game plan that the players wanted. Yes, I'm not going to put it on that the whole game plan was what every single player said. The coaches would have instilled a little bit, and we've seen that with tweaks, okay, throughout the year, last year and even this year, where they've changed transition. I'm a Voss person. Right? But we haven't provided him the ammunition. Is he the best coach in the market? No, he's not. Is he the greatest tactician? No, he's not. But he's a leader. And that's what they wanted. They wanted someone to hold their head high and lead the troops. Okay? Someone with that, when you looked at and spoke, there was presence. And they,
So that's why Brian. So that's why Brian Cook labelled him a leadership coach.
Correct. All right. But and like you said, Vince, you're 100% on the money. They were also told you need to put tacticians around Voss, and you'll have a successful little clique there. Okay. They went around that. All right. And if we go back to the Board of Imposters, right? I've been calling for their heads for years. All right. We all know that they sit there as representatives of
the Carlton Mafia. The
All
Carlton
right.
Mafia.
Boys, no one's brought up what happened to one of our major sponsors with Booper. Booper.
They cut it?
Cut it. They got fined millions of
Oh,
dollars.
yeah, it was like 50 mil. I seen that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. For you were insured with them, and you needed medical assistance, and they said, "Oh no, we don't cover that." Where they did. That's the type of people, and also, I don't know if a lot of people are aware of this. We don't have 100,000 members. Over 100,000 members.
Probably got like 30, 40 real members home and away.
Because I don't know if it's been said, but I'm gonna throw out a truth bomb on what the club does. So they'll go to Hyundai, they'll go to Booper, they'll go to who's Bank SA?
Great Southern Bank.
Great Southern Bank.
And Great Southern Bank, their sponsorship might be $1 million a year. The club will turn around to them and say, part of that $1 million, 100 grand of that is going to be towards memberships. And what you're then going to do, all right, you're going to sign over a proxy authority to the club. So what happens is the club holds those memberships as a proxy vote. So if anyone was to go up against and raise a ticket against and there needed to be members to vote in favour, the club's got all these membership that they got access to proxies. So it'll be a landslide. And also going back to and I'm not saying that Voss should stay, and I'm not saying that he should be sacked, right? But if you're going to hit someone with a cricket bat over the head and say, you're not doing your job, all right? At the start of the year, he didn't want Jagger. He wanted Houston.
Correct.
All right? So,
definitely.
So how can you curse him on the list that we've got when you're not enabling him to put on the playing park, all right? And it's been said before, at the moment, he can't polish shit. And if the club, and another thing I heard tonight from a very good source, apparently someone that's going to be leaving the club very shortly in a high position has turned around and said the club is cooked. We're 7 years away from anything. And apparently, and I'm going to name it, this is coming from the exiting CEO.
Jesus Christ.
That meets with someone every month.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, nice.
If he's
And the reason he would have said that, and the reason he would have said that, Morris, is because in 4 years, and in fact, well before the 4 years that he's had, he would have learnt very quickly that being the CEO at Carlton is a very different prospect to being the CEO at Geelong or the CEO at West Coast, you know, where you had a board who basically allowed you to do your job and make your decisions. Frank Costa was, by all reports, one of the best presidents going around at Geelong. And that's, largely why the culture at Geelong was so strong.
Correct.
And even at West Coast, they provided him with all the support he needed. But in 4 years at Carlton, his hands are tied, mate, probably behind his back.
But
with handcuffs. They're not allowed to do what they think they're going to be able to do. I'll be very, very interested. My focus now, more than anything else, is going to be on what will they allow Graham Wright to do. It's not what Graham Wright wants to do. It's what will they allow him to do. And I'm telling you now, the Carlton Mafia is as strong as it's ever been, and those 5 families control the people who are actually on the board. That's what most Carlton fans don't realise. They think they've got a new president.
Atherton,
They think they've got
Kurt,
new board members.
Smorgan.
All they've got
Elliott.
is different representatives who are there to look after the business interests of the families that control Carlton.
Effectively,
if you think I'm kidding, I'm not kidding.
So effectively, Brian Cook has been handcuffed, ball and chained to his feet from the moment he walked in.
They're all.
Why would he say? Why would he say what Morris is just quoting?
Yeah, no. I'm not discounting anything Morris has said, but it just goes to show the amount of bullshit they have spewed to the supporters since he's come in, and without obviously us, you know what I mean. We're now privy to it, and we understand it more than the common fan or whatever. But there's not a lot of people that are obviously in tune with this sort of info. You know what I mean? And how long does it take for them to wake up?
Did you guys see the Herald's on the 82-year-old grandfather?
Yeah.
And the other guy that had his membership banned for 3 years, blah, blah,
Didn't
blah.
have ties to the club?
Vince, you know what I'm talking about. But
yes, they're very long-time members of what's used to be known, or what's probably still known as the unofficial selection committee that were largely responsible for removing John Elliott 23 years ago.
And my Facebook page, why do you think
it's called the unofficial selection committee?
That was you, Morris, you dog.
That was Morris. That was Morris who got rid of John Elliott.
You're a dog. You're a drunk.
On that,
It's Morris's fault.
It's all your fault.
On that, when it came to John Elliott, I didn't stand with them. Okay, but
I know
there was one night that we got phone calls to go to the club. This is another year. We got phone calls to go to the club, and we had a meeting with Zach Freed, Stephen Moulton, Mark Harrison, and I think Marcus Clark. And they said to us, they go, there's something happening in the background. We want your endorsement. So basically, they took a photo of us all. They got us to write our names, sign it, that we endorse.
Hang on. This is before the 2006 election, when Graham Smorgan got voted out as president.
And they couldn't tell us. They said it'll be the best thing that you ever did. All right. They wanted Smorgan out. And what happened? They couldn't tell us who was going to be president, but they said you're all going to do backflips. We did it because we hated Smorgan. All right. And in came Richard Pratt.
Yeah.
All right. And the first thing, a lot of people don't know this. Richard Pratt's first day at the club as president said, what do you guys need? And everybody said, we need, if you worked at the club, you had to go and buy your own pen, your own book, your own everything. The club had no money for anything. Richard Pratt signed a check for $330,000. just to get the miscellaneous things that the club needed to operate on an admin thing.
Just to give it some cash flow, right?
Yeah, correct. If we talk about the board in regards to them wanting to be that hierarchy, now, majority of Carlton fans have a taste in their mouth when they hear Mick Malthouse, okay? And was he the best thing for Carlton? Maybe not, but Vince, I remember when Mick got signed and they asked him, the media asked him, what list changes are you going to make? And he said, I'm not making any list changes for 12 months. Everyone starts fresh. I'm good enough to see who's good and who's not and who's no good. All right?
Yeah.
After his 12 months, he went and presented to the board and said, you guys are kidding yourselves if you think that this list is anywhere close to a premiership. Well, guess what? That was the day that Mick Malthouse pretty much signed his exit papers because the board had it in for him and needed him to try to do everything in their power to get him gone. Mick also once said, all right, one of his biggest traits was, if you see me berating a player, mind your own business. Like I've got the medicine, like I've got the, I've also got the medicine to put my arm around them and pick them back up, right? Because it's well known that back then in those days, we're talking the Murphy days, the Gibbs days, if you berated a Bryce Gibbs or a Murphy or whatever, they'd have a little sook and someone will go put their arm around them. Oh, don't worry about him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And he wanted that old style coaching respect, that father figure. I'll be your father, but I'll also be your best friend. And let me tell you, once your career ends, you'll be a football great.
But
I got a question.
Gotcha.
How does this tie into today's team and coach? Same thing.
How does it tie in?
Yeah.
Do you really think that Michael Voss's hands aren't handcuffed? Do you really think?
To a certain extent, yes.
Who's controlling him, Morris? Tell us.
Who? It's the board.
I disagree. I just think he's a shit coach.
Yeah.
No, but Andy, whether he's a shit coach or not, you might be right. But last year, you know, this is when it changed. Last year, when we lost to Geelong, all right?
Yeah.
That was earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go and watch his press conference.
Yeah, he lost it.
Oh, pissed off. Guess what? He got spoken to.
Mm-hmm.
You need to lower your demeanor. You
That's-
can't
that's-
be talking like this.
Morris, that's
Okay?
all good and well, right? But I can't imagine the board telling him, don't make positional changes. Don't make tactical changes. And I don't think they're telling him to not play players because our list are full of spuds. So like, I don't think they're telling him, oh, you have to.
Andy, I hear you, but can I just add something that you may or may not be aware of?
Vince, before you do that, sorry, I'm gonna jet.
Oh.
So thank you guys.
Okay, bro.
We're
Good to see you, mate.
bro.
Cheers,
Thanks,
brother.
Good to see you all.
What else
I'll
you
let
can
someone
do?
else
What
jump
else-
in.
What else you can do?
What else
Join
we
us
can
next time,
do?
mate.
What else we
You've been
can
really
do?
good.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Wait, thanks, bro. I'll speak to you in the chat. We're going to super sub Bo
Oh,
out,
man.
and we're going to put, before he gets
Next
to
to
bed,
No, it's right. Okay, who we got?
Danza. How
Dan.
are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good.
You
How are
wanna
you?
Introduce yourself, or should I introduce you?
No, you introduced me. I would like to hear what you say, actually.
Well, this is my beautiful boss.
Yeah.
Both
That's
of
a
ours.
dirty dog that goes for Collingwood.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Beautiful boss who goes for Collingwood. Oh my God.
I'm never ever going to join this show again, right? This is a one and done for me. But you know, I obviously work with these boys, and I hear it a lot, and I'm good friends with a lot of people in the place, and I am a Collingwood supporter. But I mean, I said to Mars today at work, and he fully, you looked at me and said I was crazy. I said Carlton will come out, and they'll show something. They have to show something, because it just
For a quarter.
For something, there's got to be something. I mean, tonight I got invited to the president's dinner today, so I was there with the frauds.
In our house.
In your house, there was
In
more
our house, Mars.
boys. There was more Collingwood supporters there than Carlton supporters. Right, the president was speaking at that place like he'd just won. He's just gone to go in Monopoly 400 times. Like the business model that Carlton have is unbelievable. Like it is a great business, it's a great corporate function. The Carlton in business stuff is amazing. And you know, I've been to some of it and it's crazy. But on the field, I just could not. There was not even a whimper. It was Mars, you were I don't say it, but you were bang on. They didn't even show up. Zero.
I think I guessed on the jumper punch that we'd lose by 56 points. I'm not even joking. I said 50 or 56 points. That's what I said.
But we say it every week to Dan at work. Me and
Yeah.
Mars. We say it every week. He tipped us against fucking Port, and we said you're fucking cooked.
We played West Coast last week, and West Coast came out and gave us a fright in the first quarter, right? And I thought to myself, Carlton will probably do that next week. They'll come out, like it's the biggest game of the season for them. They're going to come out, they're going to give us everything. But West Coast gave us a lot more of a fright. And I'm not coming in here to rub it in or anything.
They did.
I'm not
that
Collingwood supporter. I don't like. We should have won tonight. We are a good team this year, but when I don't go and see Carlton live every week, but Jesus, I know why you guys come to work pissed off on a Monday, because that was dog shit. That was
bottom four stuff. It was bottom four stuff.
Horrible. I actually can't believe that you guys. What were you 10th?
11th.
11th.
It's a fake position.
If West Coast had played us last week, they would have beat us.
They would have beat us. They would have beat us.
They would have beaten us.
The way they play, they would have beaten us.
But, Collingwood were now to maybe first or second gear tonight. Only in the third quarter they cranked it up about 2
We
gears.
rocked up for maybe 10 minutes.
Same as last week against West Coast. Yeah.
They just blew us out of the water, and that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do to us.
Can we put up a petition to the AFL to bring back our 4:40 Sunday games?
Oh, they were great games.
So
We should be playing Monday morning, 6 a.m., Morris.
So we can enjoy our weekends until late Sunday.
Yeah.
Because at least at about 5 o'clock.
Well, I can tell you one thing, mate. Hey, Morris, on my show last Sunday, I absolutely gave it to whoever the dickhead is at the AFL that scheduled Carlton for Thursday nights and Friday nights and all of these peak hour, prime time games. What were they thinking? What is it about the way we play that makes you think people are going to want to watch that rubbish?
Yeah.
And guess who came out during the week and said exactly the same thing? Eddie Maguire.
Yeah.
Eddie Maguire came out and said, I think he said it on some podcast with James Hurd. He said,
his own one, yeah.
What were they thinking? You got to get rid of Carlton and Essendon from these prime time spots. It's just crazy. Anyway, he said, I can't believe that Kerry Stokes from Channel 7, who owns Channel 7, wouldn't have rung up and said, what the hell are you guys doing? Anyway.
I was going to say, Mars, at the president's dinner tonight, Tony Shaw was there.
Yeah.
These things aggravate me.
So what did Priestley talk about? Everything but football?
he actually talked about that Collingwood owe us a favour because back in the 1800s when Collingwood first joined the VFA, that Carlton were the club that let them play their 18th game. The 18th. Apparently back then you needed to play 18 rounds of footy to qualify, and Carlton Carlton put their hands up to let Collingwood play them. So they changed the fixture. So we owe them something. You know that it's Carlton made Collingwood join the VFA. So he was saying that he got up there
thing I've ever heard in my life, man.
Yeah, and then that's what he said.
You think anyone gives a flying you know what about what happened in the 1800s?
And then he got Tony Shaw up there as well, and Tony Shaw absolutely berated him. Like, I was like, is this a Carlton function or a Collingwood function?
Got Tony Shaw up.
Tony Shaw was up with another, was it Tom Heatley?
God.
Heatley? I can't remember his name. A defender from it was a Carlton defender
80s?
From the 80s
81, 82?
Yeah, around there.
Fullback? It would maybe the fullback.
Yeah.
Who's their fullback?
Vince would know. Heatley.
Morris would know. He's about 80 years old.
Who's our fullback in 81?
Maybe
when we played him in the
you sure it wasn't you sure it wasn't Kevin Heath?
Kevin Heath,
number 18 in the 70s, played for us.
I don't know. You know what? I'll find out who it was, but they got both of them up.
Was he a premiership? No, he wouldn't have been. Kevin Heath wasn't a premiership player. Was he a premiership player?
Was it Ken Hunter?
Kenny Hunter.
Kenny Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
Kenny Hunter.
Kenny Hunter.
He's a triple premiership player.
Triple premiership player.
My
81, 82, and 87.
But Tony Shaw
and an absolute champion.
Go, Dan.
And
Go.
Tony Shaw is just winning mentality. So he was up there and he was berating the whole crowd, saying, I can't believe you guys have even rocked up. In a president's dinner, I was like, fuck, I was even getting a bit awkward because he was
threw a glass at him.
He was going off. I couldn't believe it. And the president was there.
He knew he could get away with it. That's why he did it. He knew he could get away with it.
He was laughing. He was actually laughing, going, this is good entertainment. I was like, I couldn't if this was a Collingwood event, and I've been to a few Collingwood events, and this was happening, the stage would have been flipped upside down because you just don't let that sort of stuff happen. And I hear you boys talking about it at work, and but from the top down, and I always say to the boys, I can't believe Vossi's still there. Can't believe it's bigger. I don't know as much as you boys do, but from what I see, I reckon you could get rid of about 400 people at that club, and it still needs a bit of work to do. It's from the core, And you know what? I reckon it's probably making some pretty good margins, some pretty good profit. As in terms, they're probably turning some good figures. But the footy, I mean, I don't get to see Carlton live often.
It's not football. It's haram ball. It's not football. It's haram ball. We're a bunch of terrorists.
How do you do it every week?
There's 23 terrorists out there on the field, and there's another 8 terrorists in the coaching
I'm
box.
not associated with that comment. Please don't raid my house.
Nah, I don't care, bro. We play haram football, bro.
You can joke like I haven't got that luxury. I can't make jokes like that, guys.
Bro,
Azio, I swear to God, I'm good, bro.
Andy, what's that drum of liquid you left outside on my porch?
Oh, this bloke. Bro, they're joking. Azio, I know you're watching.
No, we're joking. I love it joking.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Dan.
Yo.
Can I suggest something to you? Tony Shaw is one person, is one Collingwood person who's Collingwood through and through, who has nightmares about Carlton, dating back to when they lost the grand final in 79 to Carlton by 5 points. And when they lost in 81 to Carlton by 20 points.
I watched that last night.
And he was been through hell with Carlton over the years. And now he's finally decided it's time for me to get a bit of revenge back. And I'm going to make these people feel so small about being Carlton people because he knows Collingwood is just that much better than we are at the moment. Not only as a team, but as an entire football club. that this is his moment for revenge, and that's why he decided stuff it. I'm gonna take the piss, and I'm gonna make him feel like shit, and he's taken the opportunity to do it.
I'm 37 years old. My whole childhood was collie wobbles. That's how I grew up. You know what I mean? Like we went through, we lost grand finals. You know, we've only.
Well,
come
Tony Shaw himself was coaching Collingwood between 96 and 99, and those 4 years they were absolute crap.
Yeah, garbage. The problem is, like, these boys, you know, these boys are going through, what is it, 30 years now without a premiership?
Yeah.
30 years without a premiership, and like that's what
Marzi
Collingwood went through.
lost all his hair.
Yeah.
Collingwood went through 31 years, and we were berated.
32.
But the thing
years.
is, right, you're still making grand finals.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I haven't even seen us get to the dance yet.
Well, when they acknowledge Paddy Cripps tonight as your, you know, your leader, your captain, the accolades were, what were the accolades? Norm Smith? No.
Who?
Twice Brownlow medalist? All Australian?
Twice Brownlow medalist and all Australian.
And 5-time.
But not even he can do it anymore.
Because he was celebrating his 150th as a captain tonight, right? Which puts him up there with one of the top three. But
I didn't know that.
Only Kernahan and Nichols have captained more games at Carlton. Yeah.
Yeah. So tonight put him into the top three of captaincy. But
all time.
The blokes played how many finals? You would know better than me.
What's the winning percentage? I'd be very interested to know.
He's played
in those 150 games. What's the winning percentage?
I'd be under 50%.
Yeah.
Nah.
Under 40.
Not in 150 games. Not when he was being coached by Teague and Bolton and all those years. Maybe 35 to 40 at best.
Yeah. I reckon about 20.
Nah, it's a bit better than that.
No, Vince. I
You
reckon
reckon?
it'll be higher because up until tonight's game, Voss's winning record.
Yeah, Voss is on 53%, but that's only 3.5 years, Morris. That's only about 70, 75 games, maybe
Look
80
what we're
games.
doing.
Another
Look what
70
we're
was under
doing.
Teague, and under Bolton.
No, sorry. I
They were
thought
fucking cooked,
I thought you'd not meant his captaincy, not the.
Yeah, the
his
150
career.
games that he's been captain. The 150 games that he's been captain, be lucky to be more than 40% winning strike rate. I'm telling you.
Yeah. But I want to ask a question in regards to the corporate of Vince. We've been good friends for many, many years, right?
Yeah.
You were probably the last independent president of probably the biggest coterie group in the country, the Carltonians.
Yep.
I want to ask you a question. How many times did you send out SOSs saying, hey, everyone, if you want to buy a ticket to the Carltonians, they're available to buy?
Never.
Did you all get a text from the Carlton Football Club?
Yep.
That
I did.
coterie,
$1,200 ahead.
That you coterie group tickets available
Yep.
for a Carlton.
Morris, when we had Carlton Collingwood games,
you were
I had to knock back people because the bookings were sold out. We couldn't get any more reserve seats out the front from the club. The room we had was the Yarra Park room. It was supposed to be 280 people maximum. We somehow managed to squeeze 320 people in there. And we never had to do anything like that.
Level up your match day experience at Carlton v Collingwood. Limited tickets remaining in our Carltonians coterie function. Secure today.
Mars, 9 years ago.
Yes.
When I was told by the CEO of the club, that the club wanted to take over the running of the Carltonians from me and my committee.
Yeah.
Because, as they put it, you guys are out there doing your own thing, and we want to just bring you all in under the umbrella of the club. We just want it to be a whole of club experience for everybody. You know, in a nutshell, what I discovered, because I was starting to think, what are we doing wrong? And it wasn't, I mean, we were raising hundreds of thousands of dollars every year in net profit. I mean, over the 5 years, my initial 5 years as president, we raised, I think it was $1.5 million or something. I mean, I thought, what are we doing wrong here? And what I realized after a while and after speaking to them is that it wasn't what we were doing wrong, it was what we were doing right. Because word had gotten around that our functions were the place to be and that our functions were fun. And even though we weren't going too well on the field between 2006 and 2010, being at the Carltonians was a fantastic experience. And, you know, a lot of our guest speakers, which I arranged through purely my own contacts, were far superior to what they were getting in the president's room. And it was no question that because of a lot of jealousy and a lot of people feeling very uncomfortable about that situation, rather than raise their own standards and improve what they provided for their president's club function, they decided that the best way to fix this was to bring us down and to take over the running of it. And it's never been the same since. And
they effectively wanted you
when
at the door.
Stephen Trigg, the CEO at the time, told me that that's what they wanted to do. And by the way, you're going to lose your title as president because the president wants no one else in the club to be president of anything. You're going to have another title, which I thought was just so trivial and childish. But anyway, that's when I realised that's it. If this is what you're going to do, forget it. The committee was not going to be appointed by the members anymore. It was going to be appointed by the club. So it was basically going to become a dictatorship.
Vince, did you feel, Vince,
in the
at
end,
that time,
what I realised is that their solution was to bring us down to their level, or even worse than their level, rather than actually elevate themselves up to somewhere like what we were doing. So since then, unfortunately, I've had plenty of people report back to me as Carltonian members that it's just not the same as it used to be.
Vince,
so
I've got a question
about that. It doesn't surprise me, Mars. It doesn't surprise me that they're sending out text now because they can't even fill the room. Sorry,
I've got
Seba.
a question about that.
Sorry,
I've got a
Seba.
question
Sorry,
about that,
bro.
Vince.
Before you get into it,
Go,
sorry,
go.
bro. Boys, I got a jet. I got work in the morning.
See, Andy.
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
you.
Go Blues.
Pleasure.
Dan,
Go again.
enjoy the win, bro. You deserve it. All that. Well
He's
done.
a dog still. He's a dog. Let him know he's a dog. He's a filthy dog.
Tell me I'm a dog.
You're a filth
Let him.
dog. Nah,
Thank
joking.
you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Andy,
Here we go.
tell Dan how we can get 10% off at your shop.
Oh, yeah. You come to
Yes.
the Bottle O Pascaval, and this is legit. I do this for all my customers. You come in, Bottle O Pascaval, 18 Devon Road. Thanks, Mars. You say, fuck Collingwood, you get 10% off. Legit. Legit.
Okay.
But special offer, if you come in tomorrow and you say, fuck the cheer squad, you get 20% off. Come see me.
I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow to grab some more.
All right.
Love you, brother.
Hey, Andy.
Love you.
Good on you,
boys.
Andy. See you,
We're gonna
buddy.
get an
Cheers,
extra
Andy.
sub in.
Vince, I got a question about that time period of when you were the president of the Carltonians. Now,
Yeah.
did you feel that? Could you feel that? Obviously, you knew that there was a lot of change that went on with Carlton, but could you feel at that time when they were trying to push you out the door, because that's what they did, that you could feel the club dying? Did you feel that? Like the fabric of the club? Did you feel it really dying?
There were a few. Yeah. Look, there were. When Stephen Kernahan was the president and Greg Swan was the CEO, there was a lot more of a feeling of
There was
stability,
energy.
I think, at the time. And there was,
There was
energy
energy.
about the place. Although I do believe that the biggest mistake they made was to get rid of Brett Ratton at the end of 2012. That was, to me, a monumental mistake.
That's
But
what killed it
nevertheless,
for my dad.
yeah, and I think after that happened and they put Malthouse in and
But Ratton did lose a bit of the playing group as well too, Vince, where he had his favourites.
I understand that some of the playing group didn't like the fact that Ratton got in their faces and challenged them. And some of them, as you find out in this century, Morris, young people can't handle criticism. They can't handle a coach who lets them have it. And some of them end up having these little groups and cliques and, don't, as you said, don't worry, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Rubbish.
I still remember, sorry.
The sign of a strong club is one that gets behind their coach and doesn't let their players, right, become the tail that wags the dog, right? And I can tell you that Brett Ratton is the only coach in the history of the AFL who got sacked 9 days after his team smashed a traditional opponent in Essendon by 16 goals. 9 days earlier. And when I went into those rooms when we lost to Gold Coast the week after, we lost by 2 goals. And I'm telling you now, the entire team didn't even show up for the first half. And they made a late, blatant attempt to try and make up the deficit in the last quarter, but it was all too little too late, she cried. And as soon as that happened, me and my vice president, who went up at the time, Johnny Redmond, we both looked at each other and we went, "Are you worried about rats?" And I said, "Yep. There's a stench about this game. They weren't fair income tonight, these boys." We went into the rooms, and let me tell you, I could smell it. They were going to sack him. And all of the head honchos, the Mathesons of the world, they were all down there. And what did they do? They knocked him off. Why? Because they'd already been negotiating behind the scenes to get Malthouse.
Yeah.
And that was always going
can
to
I
happen.
just jump in for a sec?
Yeah, no worries, right?
So there was a game tonight anyway, right? There was a game tonight, and I want to know what this Collingwood scumbag's doing in the bloody chat.
Is it worth talking about
We don't even want to let him. We don't even want to let him into our thing, or we've let him into the thing. But anyway,
it's one, and you'll never see me again. I'm going to say this and get out of here because I feel like I'm an imposter, and I feel sick to my stomach.
You should join the Carlton board.
No.
No, fuck no.
Have you guys talked about the celebration tonight?
Which one?
Motlop.
What's his name? Motlop?
Yeah, I don't think we did, but that was a disgrace, man. We're 50 points down.
What was he doing? What made him think that was the time to do that?
I heard on the TV. I don't know if you guys watch Foxtel, but
I'm a Liverpool member.
Yeah,
Liverpool.
All
yeah.
Right. A lot of the Carlton boys.
Yeah, they go for Liverpool.
Are Liverpool supporters.
Yeah. I don't care. That is a load of crap. I do not give a shit about honouring someone overseas. How about you show some respect and right? This guy, whatever he did, is playing the PlayStation, right? How about you do this? How about you go and train and make sure you get more of the ball? How about when we're 50 points down, you're not pumping the air like that? Like, what is wrong with you, mate? And also, Zach Williams did it. They've done it over and over again. That shows that it's more about
it's cringeworthy
than that it is about the team, right? Because when you're 50 points down, man, you kick a goal, you turn around and you get back in your position and you shut up. Because you should be in no position to be celebrating, mate. The only one that could have half celebrated tonight was Moya because he kicked that goal. I don't know if it's his first goal or second goal, maybe.
No, he kicked it against West Coast. He kicked it against West Coast last year.
Well, whatever then. Maybe him. But Motlop does that over and over again, and it's starting to give me the shit.
It was the second Motlop celebration that got me, actually. The one where he's twizzling his fucking fingers when you're nearly 60 points. What the fuck are you doing?
And we're 50 points down. Like, what is that? Like, even the Collingwood supporter here looked at that and said, what's going on here? It's embarrassing, isn't it?
You know what? I actually
where I was sitting, I just looked around because there's a lot of Carlton supporters around us where we were sitting, and I actually couldn't believe, because obviously I hear it a lot through you boys and what's going on at the Carlton Football Club. That was not the time. There's a time and place. I'm not against. I'm all for celebrations and I like it coming into the game a little bit. But when your club is going through what it's going through. And I understand the Jota thing. It's sad and whatnot, what's going on there. But just pick your times better because it looks horrible. And I'm going to get out of this chat now because I've said enough as a Collingwood supporter because tonight's not the night. Go Pies.
Fucking Collingwood dog.
Good
You've
night.
done well. You've done well to jump on.
See you, Dan. See you on
Hello,
Monday.
I'll speak to you. I'll speak to you, fella, and everyone.
Hey, man.
See you, Lidge. See you, Crystal.
See you, mate.
See you, Ruby. Hello.
See ya.
He's
Even-
actually,
I've actually got
Another
a, you
fun
know what?
call.
he's actually a good bloke, Mars. He even came to the stage show. And by the way, anyone that's in the chat, right? The stage show on the 30th of August, we've already got Brad Pierce locked away.
Locked in, yep.
The link is in the description. Get your tickets. And yeah, you can have more of this.
You know about the game, and like obviously I watch every game of football that there is, like, you know, and watch it passionately. I love AFL, right? But the one thing I can admire about these dogs, right, is that do you watch when a person goes over the boundary line or they get a tap out or something like that and it stops play, they go and get someone and they lift them up or they're high-fiving and they just, I know it's like it's little things, but it's a symbolic thing within their nature and the culture of their club. You know, and it's
Correct.
also what Craig McRae has brought there is that it's a unity thing. You know, Sidebottom goes out, another kid comes in. I don't know what his name was. Number 45 for him, I think. Young kid. Yeah, mate. He came in, did his thing, didn't look out of place. You know, our young kids come in, and I know it's a broken club at the moment. It's come into a broken system, but our kids, they look like they can't go a yard. Go Morris.
That's Rowan Steele.
His name was Rowan Steele, by the way.
Rowan Steele, mate.
I don't know who that is.
I thought he played 100 games.
He had 20 touches tonight.
I saw this interview years ago where I think it was after McRae's first year of as a coach.
Yeah.
And he spoke about how we went overseas.
Yep.
And did a bit of studying with some sports scientists and teams, and he said the biggest thing that he took out of it was eliminating doing the easy things. And he gave an example of, if let's say like we're at the G tonight, right, as supporters, and we've got to go to level 4. I sit on level 2 anyway, right? But I'm just giving an example. There's an elevator or the stairs. The easy thing is to take the elevator, but you take the stairs. And he said it was all those small little things that made these overseas clubs successful. And then he also spoke about the reason why your windscreen is so large and your rear view mirror is small. Don't worry about looking in that rear view mirror about what happened yesterday. Have a look at the windscreen. You do the fundamentals of the hard stuff, okay? And everything will fall into place. Now that we're talking on the hard stuff and that, I've got a theory with our playing group, right? So my theory, I was a massive advocate of Andrew Russell. I thought he was brilliant. He's had a brilliant career, all right? If you go back to his Port days, all the players are advocates of him. Hawthorn, they praise him like a god. Some of them even give him praise more than what they do to Alistair Clarkson, right? We all know last year we had that review, and they worked out, hey, you know what? We're going to move you on, right? All our soft tissue injuries, anyone that's played any sports or done any combat or whatever, if you go in something half-assed, you're going to get hurt. All right? And then for you to be at your peak, you can get fit. But for you to be a machine, you got to do that little bit extra, right?
Exactly. The spreadsheet. Yeah.
The Rocco a little bit extra.
Yep, exactly. I believe when they hired this Sydney bloke, I believe that he was spoken to, that he's got to tone down the program.
But why would they do that, Morris? Like, for what reason? Like, what reason would they do that? Like, what reason would
Because
they
our players don't want to put in that extra hard shit. They just want to. They
Well,
want to be
then
nice.
that's not their fault. This is the players then. If the players don't want to put in the hard shit, it's all up. Then it's players. It's all players then. It's got nothing to do with anyone else. If the players are if the tail's wagging the fucking dog, it's time to get rid of these players. We got to eliminate this group. We have got to separate them because because another thing I've been thinking about is right. If these players taking a backward step because they want the coach out, they're a bunch of weak pricks, and it's time to go.
Rocco, I've got a question.
What happens next time? What happens to the next coach when they get a little bit too hard for them? Do they do it again?
But and I've been saying this for a while, right? I got criticised a few, maybe a month ago or whatever on the Monday Blues, right? Where I turned around and I said, we've got to let TDK go. You'll get a compo pick. Let a Charlie or a Harry go. You'll get 2 first-rounders and possibly a Walsh, right? You'll have 5 first-rounders. With that, you've got a nucleus of power that you can either split, trade in, bring in players to fill a role and do what they're supposed to do, right? They don't need to be stars. And by doing that, you've eliminated 3 of our top 6, right? And going back to what you were saying about the players, all right, it eliminates that. But the biggest thing that no one talks about, if they've turned their back on the coach and they're revolting against the coach, good and well. But you're fucking sticking it in our asses, the members.
But they
You're
shouldn't
giving us a big fat fuck you.
Yeah, they are, but they shouldn't be doing that. Anyone that does that against their coach is weak-minded to me.
100%.
That means you'll do it to any coach.
That's right.
That's
right.
why I say about Charlie is that, all right, yeah, you want the coach gone, but what's to say that if you don't like the next coach and the way he plays, you'll do it again?
Yeah. And look, and I've heard, and this is from a good source again, tomato sauce, right?
Master Foods.
Master
Foods,
right?
Yeah, they're good.
There is a division between the top and the bottom, and the top.
But you can see it.
They don't want to be doing the hard work, and the bottom end are starting to get upset about it, man. They don't like it. There's a division into it, and you can see it now. Like I can see.
Wait up, Rocco. You know where the perfect fucking example, and me, you, and Dylan, we all looked at each other, Mars. We all looked at each other when fucking Cooper Lord had the ball. 45 out, right? You can see it, right?
I called this. This as well.
Why, Mitch McGovern, you selfish piece of shit, let him go and kick the goal. But you can see that if let's be real here, if he didn't get that, if he didn't give the hands off, he would have fucking copped it.
Oh, Cooper Lord has kicked a set shot from over 50 meters before.
And I like Cooper Lord. I love Cooper Lord. I love him. I love him. And you know what's another thing? Obviously, we left early.
McGovern's just a goose.
For you guys that watched this at the end.
He was kicking it for fucking Jollymon.
But he chipped it into the middle. He squared it. He squared the
overrated, overpaid.
No, but why
over
are you calling for that?
Let him kick
Why are you calling for it? Why a leader does not call for that?
Of course he was gonna. Of course, Cooper.
A leader? You reckon McGovern's a leader? You've got to be kidding me, don't you?
He's a leader or not a leader, but he's an experienced player. He's an older statesman.
Yeah, he's over 30. He hasn't got any leadership qualities at all. He's a goose. He's an overpaid, overrated goose whose manager was smart enough 7 or 8 years ago to say Carlton's offering you double of what you're worth. Go.
Vince, I was talking. You're missing the
He's a
point.
goose.
What I was saying was this.
Calma,
as
calma.
far as a leader, he's an older statesman. As far as a leader, if you run past Cooper Lord,
Cooper Lord.
Cooper Lord,
Lupa Claude.
as an older bloke, as a 30-year-old McGovern, and you call for it, a Cooper Lord will handball it to you. Right? He should never have put Cooper Lord in that
He
position.
should have backed him in. Just back him in and say, go
Fucking
get
hope
it.
you should have backed him in, and that's what good leaders do, mate. They back him in, and for him to do that, not only did he miss, right? I reckon after that, Cooper Lord would have felt like shit.
Fucking oath he would.
Didn't he kick a goal from that angle against St.
Yes.
From that far out?
Yeah.
It was like the winning goal or something. Remember,
We
it was
were saying he's going to kick it.
Yeah,
we were
Even
saying
against-
we're backing him in.
The exact
Even
same angle.
against
It's not a little
North
bit
Melbourne
further.
at Marvel in the last quarter, he kicked 2.
Yeah,
He's done
Two
it.
from-
He's done
two
it
from a
time. He's
distance.
done it countless
Yeah.
times. Done it countless times. Go, Aiden. You're going to say something.
You know the thing about trading Walsh, Harry, and all, I'd definitely get rid of TDK and Harry. But the thing with trading 5 big players, how can you trust that the club?
Nah,
will
you're not.
look
You
well?
won't trade 5. You'll trade 2.
Not 5.
You'll
Aiden.
trade 2.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, 2. Yeah, 2 or
5.
3.
That's it. You might as well get a nuke now and blow the joint up if you go 5.
But what you got to remember as well too, if you move TDK on, let's say a Charlie or whatever, and a Walsh, let's say 3 of them, Graham Wright can start instilling that Geelong theory. We don't overpay our players here.
Yep.
You come here to play for a big club and for success.
For that.
Before I forget, every time someone says to me, "Who's your source?" I've been saying it for over a year. I always say Brad Lloyd. I catch up with him every week for a coffee.
That's where he's been for 7 years.
You know what's funny about You know what's funny about this fucking? I'm starting to get sick of this Graham Wright, whatever the fuck his name is, right? Because every other team, that's the CEO, right? And normally the CEO takes care of the organisation, right? All of a sudden, this Graham Wright is going to do everything, and he's going to kick us 50 goals next year, apparently. Like, what is going? Like, why? I don't get. How is he going to change like the mentality, the players? He's going to change. I'm telling you now, you're all.
It's a monumental task.
But do you guys know any other?
Doing all this?
Do you guys know any other
going to make changes? I'm telling you, he's barely going to make any sort of hardcore changes. What, he's going to do a couple of players and a couple of officials? Is that it?
Do you guys know any other CEO? Oh, the only one I knew was Tom Harley. That was at Sydney.
No.
That's the only one I knew was Tom Harley.
I asked other supporters. None of them know who their board is.
But they know who.
They know who their S&C
They know
is.
who
They
our
know our
CEO
board.
is.
Yeah.
What about their S&C? I don't think they know their S&C. We know everyone, top to bottom.
But
I even know the barista.
This still goes in my head, and it spins, and it spins. Years ago, certain board members that we were talking to, after they sacked him, they berated him, and they said he's one of the worst operators they've ever seen.
Who's this?
Who?
Greg Swan. They said it. They said some other words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I knew Greg quite well, and I thought,
Did I?
Goes to Brisbane. We're on the bottom. They're on the bottom. They were, and when he went to Brisbane, they were just about throw the keys.
Oh, they were
basket case.
2018,
They
they
were
were
gone.
horrible.
Yeah.
2018. Yeah,
No, 2014, 2015.
Yeah. That's when Boss was there.
But they were bust.
What happened is after Carlton celebrated our 150th anniversary as a club, which was in June or July of 2014, Stephen Kernahan announced that night that he would be stepping down as president immediately, and Greg Swan announced his resignation as well. And by the end of that 2014 season, Greg Swan was appointed CEO at Brisbane. And 10 years later, they held up Premiership Cup. And he's been there ever since.
AFL.
Wait, now the AFL's gone and got him.
Yeah, he's at the AFL.
He didn't apply for that job.
Yeah, they approached him.
They approached him.
Wait, can I ask a question about the game tonight, right? I obviously I didn't stay to the end, and you guys obviously watched it, whatever.
I stayed.
I'm a complete blank to the game. I've only got certain moments. Who was our worst?
The Koenig. I'm not even
worst
kidding.
player.
Who was our worst? From each of you, even Mars. Who was our worst? I don't even fucking know.
The Conning was jobbing out there. He was.
Who was our worst? Even to the chat. I want to ask the chat too. Who was our worst player?
I reckon Fogarty did absolutely sweet FA tonight.
The thing is, Vince, I'll stop you there. The thing is, he got into some very good positions and was burnt about 5 or 6 times.
Are you talking about
probably
burnt?
Have you
noticed? Mate, he got three kicks and 4 hand passes and didn't hit the scoreboard.
That, but he could have got the ball in dangerous areas and he got burnt multiple times. I'm his biggest critic, but they killed him.
Have you noticed how many times we transition out of defence, right?
He's always got it.
No. And they look for that marking target at centre-half forward, and it's Fogarty trying to go up for a mark.
Even in Motlop.
Are we that cooked?
Yeah, they're even aiming at Motlop.
I love it. There was one time where all 3 or 2 smalls, they went up for the mark.
All going up at the same time.
There's a comment here in the chat. So I think Yusuf Ilhan, he's got TDK, Chera, Fogarty, and he's also got O'Keefe, and he's got in brackets, can't get away with it even if it throws his
O'Keefe or O'Farrell?
O'Farrell, sorry.
O'Farrell,
you know, with that, I can't believe
O'Farrell had he had a baptism of fire tonight. O'Farrell.
I don't even blame him. Like the thing is with that.
But he's a young kid. He's got to learn.
Second game. Like, why are you playing him against Membry?
I'll tell you right now. To me, McGovern was one of our worst. And yet he kicked a goal and he probably had 15 possessions. But to me, McGovern, for a senior player, as Rocco calls him, 30 years old, supposed to be a leader, to me, McGovern is rubbish. How he has not been dropped once this year, how Blake Acres has not been dropped once this year, how Jesse Motlop's not been dropped once this year is beyond my comprehension.
I've got a question.
A lot of these players have not played well at all for many, many games in a row, and they just never get made accountable.
Vince, can I ask you a question? You dropped all those names, right?
Yeah.
Why didn't you mention Curnow?
And Curnow. Last 3 games.
5 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago. Yeah, probably right, Mars. But if he never got dropped until now, the last 3 weeks, he has been disgusting. Disgusting.
His attitude. His attitude stinks.
No, but his effort's been all right for the last 2 weeks. But he can't keep...
This week, but last week, what did he do?
Yeah, I know with like kicking goals and all that, but like at least he's tried stuff up around the ground.
I've got to commend him for high-fiving the Collingwood players. Yeah, that was brilliant.
And show me his tackles.
Oh yeah, that.
Show me when.
No defensive side to his game.
The contest is lost and the ball goes that way, but he runs that way.
Guess how many tackles Curnow had tonight?
Don't
Zero.
know.
0.
Yep. Crispy cream.
Yet again, that's the 8th match. That's the 8th match in 16. So that's half of the games we've played this year. He has not laid a tackle.
I mean, if you go through the Tom DeConning, 0 tackles. Nick Haynes, intercept defender, but 0 tackles. Wiedering, 0. Frankie Evans, he had 0 tackles.
Mars, we
Young-
only had 2 tackles in. We only had 2 tackles inside 50 for the entire match. How many do you expect them to have?
Wait, can I get onto someone? And
Yep, go for
probably
it.
I'm probably gonna get copper flack for it, but you know what? I don't care anymore. Patrick Cripps, and I understand he's been a warrior for the club, but it doesn't absolve him from criticism. He has been fucking deplorable over the past couple of weeks. He has been garbage.
over it. I think he's over it.
And this is what I'm getting to. He's over it, but he has been.
He's had a very average year, but I think he's just over this. I think he's over the playing group. I think he's over everything.
Yeah,
but
you're right, Mars.
He's carried them for the 10, at least 8-9 years already on his back. He's done a job.
And for us to be a good side, we can't always be a 3 votes Cripps.
No, you can't. You can't. And I don't want to get it twisted. I don't want to get it twisted in terms of I hate Cripps. I don't think he's good. I fucking love. I've got him on my wall in my room. I wake up every morning and I look at him. I love him, but he hasn't been. Obviously, there's more than just what's good. There's more to it. Well, if we look at what he said in the podcast with Tom Mitchell about people you see who's really wants to buy in and stuff like that.
That was after Cody.
Yeah, about the coning, you know what I mean?
Like the conning, even Kerno to a certain extent.
But the conning thing, I think, is really killed the playing group this year.
Yeah, that I'm telling you now, that has been the main reason as to why we've been fucking terrible.
Nah, not just that.
No,
but it's a factor.
Not the main reason, but like it's a kind of.
But that happened in 2023 as well, too, boys.
Yeah.
But you know what I think, and it's not just Carlton, right? The players have it too easy now, where football,
no accountability.
Not that there's no accountability, right? Like if you look at Charlie Curnow, he's got a clothing brand.
Yeah.
He's
got a beer brand.
His business
He's
partners.
got a beer brand. He's got
his fucking spa.
His business partners.
He's in business with the
Bailey Smith.
Yeah,
Dacos Smith.
Yeah.
So, and he also does branding for Gillette and
Musashi.
Even Quaynor, he's in business with I think the sponsors. Yeah, that.
But this bloke is Carlton in business.
That's income. That's income that they're bringing.
He's probably earning more than what his contract is just from endorsements.
100%. Yeah.
Just on endorsements.
Who tells Curnow
to take a back step?
Well, who tells Curnow after he misses that first goal to go up to him and go, "What the fuck were you doing, bro?"
No one
does because they're scared of him.
How is it part of the leadership group? I could never understand.
He's not a
Well,
leader.
he shouldn't be part of the leadership, but the leadership group, he shouldn't be part of it. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Does he play like a leader? Does he play like a leader? He does.
He never has. He never has.
Who pulls him up? All you do is praise that bloke. Everyone just praises him.
This is what
Everyone
my whole
praises him.
thing about him is that he's Mr. Hollywood. He sells the fucking badges.
I know.
He gives you a fucking flex. He
Yeah.
gives you this one. He points at you, and everyone falls in love with him.
And
Like
don't forget
sometimes you need
They
to
do
pull
this
the
in the
trigger.
grandstand.
Just
They do
relax.
that in the grandstand.
But now he's copying it, and now his form and everything's come to fruition about how selfish he is, and his attitude is so fucking poor.
Don't forget about Charles Crew.
Third game in a row without a goal, too, Mars. Third
say
game in
one
a row
thing?
without a goal.
Can I say one thing too about a certain player, and he was put in the media this week, Harry
Really?
Mackay. I do feel bad for him because I think personally he works harder than 90% of the players in our team when he's in, and you can see that we miss him. If you take Charlie out of the side and replace him with Harry, if Charlie's injured, you don't notice
You get
Charlie
more
being
value.
missing. You get way more
get more
value out of.
value.
I love Harry. I fucking love him.
I
Do you know
posed
what you-
this question weeks ago when Andy was on the show, and me and Andy were the only ones who said we'd keep Harry instead of Charlie.
I've been saying
I
it
would
for years.
trade Charlie and keep
Morris-
Oregon.
Morris said it to us in Port Adelaide.
I told Mars looked at me last year, maybe round 7.
It was the game when he was the late out. The game when he was the late out.
Port game.
Yeah.
Port game.
And I said how wrapped I was because he's a lazy prick. All right?
Curnow.
Curnow.
Oh, Curnow, yeah. Not
I told you
Harry.
mid-2023, and you looked at me and said, you laughed at me. That I was
Yeah, I did, because in that
off my head.
form, unstoppable.
It was unbelievable. He just
So
kicked
we're
goals
in
out of his ass.
2025. The last time Charlie's busted his guts was
2023.
round 24, 2023, in the first quarter when he had to kick 2 goals to win his second Coleman.
Yeah, I know, against GWS.
You know what I
That's
get
what-
about
And his final series in 2023 was
But let me stop you there. That there showed me something that I didn't like that day on the players, and the club. So on Charlie, the whole playing group and the club, they went out there thinking we're just going to win Charlie's Coleman today, and then after that we don't care what happens. They got belted.
we actually lost the game that night to GWS, and it was the first game that broke our winning streak of 9 in a row.
I remember that game. I went there. We played unreal for a quarter and a half. They kept giving it to him. He got his 2 goals. That's enough. Forget about it. Just don't worry about it.
I always say this is like there's little evidence along the way that you can see in this team. The mentality of the club and of the team on the park is that when they want things, they can do things and they make it work. But when it goes to shit, that's it. They fall away completely.
Do you know, going on to your point, Mars, about I'm an advocate of Harry, as in on the field, but what I know about him, he needs to leave the club, right? Our win this year against Geelong, the one thing that I picked up, and I don't know if you go and watch the replay if they're going to show it, right? In the third quarter and in the last quarter, Charlie spent a good 5 to 10 minutes on the bench each quarter. And whilst he was on the bench, that's when we gained that momentum. You know how like Geelong used to come?
It's because we don't look for him. That's why.
And they remember how we'd kick 2 goals, they kick 1, we kick 1, they kick 2. And whilst he was on the bench, that's when we asserted ourselves as that, brilliant football. And I thought to myself, why is he on the bench for so long?
He should have been dropped after that West Coast game.
But sometimes it's hard to get a player off the bench back onto the ground. I mean,
but a key position, they spend 85, 90%. I'll see how much he spent on the ground today, because that's an interest. He spent 90%. So that's
a lot of time.
He finished the game on the bench because I was hoping to God that he didn't kick a goal. I wanted him to be the triple cheeseburger.
He's up the ground. He's up the ground a lot, that bloke, right?
To be honest, it was probably his most active game in the past 6 or 7 weeks. The most involved game he's been in, but it's too far up the ground. But he did work in the game. This game, it wasn't his worst game. It was
kick goals, man. Kick goals. That's it, man. Work up the ground to do what? Work up the ground to lose by 60 points.
No, I agree, but I'm saying it was a better performance from him, but still had a lot of flaws.
Yeah, that's not his job, man. His job is to kick goals, man, and that's it. I don't really care.
I agree.
He can go in the middle and get 20 possessions.
What's he kicked 28 goals for the year?
Yeah,
it's horrible. But and a lot of them are junk goals anyway, man. They're not really like, we haven't won games. It wasn't like the years previously where he was winning games for us.
Yeah.
And that first goal when he's like 45 out of it, that has to be a goal. It's the start of the game.
Yeah. What did I say? He'll miss this.
Oh,
He hooked the shit out of it.
That was terrible.
You
He's done it all year.
What do they do about that guy?
I got
Hey,
criticised
Rocco,
tonight.
after that first set shot, can you recall Charlie at any stage having another set shot, or did he wheel around?
No, they were all wheel around. All wheel around. We were losing it. We were losing it.
He did not once set himself for a proper shot at goal after that.
Correct.
Mars
It
was
was
losing
always the wheel around on the right foot. Jesus, that makes me
Does
sick.
Collingwood do that, or do you see them step back, wait for the lead, and hit someone?
I don't mind it if there's no one there and it's an open goal square. Go for goal.
McStay did it.
I think there was one
Perfectly.
that he did against St Kilda, and there was no one there, and you go. You got free reign. Go do what you got to do and kick it because you know you get the
100%.
bounce. But when there's players in there, you got to have a look first.
You know what? I don't get about that guy. In 2022, in 2023, he fucking loved it out there. Kicked goals out of his ass. Everything. What's happened? Where's he gone ever since that?
It's got to be the coach instilling confidence into him, the game plan. And then his attitude as well. It all reeks.
Yeah, but then again, it's the coach. Like if the coach isn't tough enough, then
I don't think he wants to play for him.
I got criticised tonight. Zach Williams' second goal.
Yeah.
Charlie was like 40 out. Should have kicked the goal. Opted to kick it to Zach.
I remember that.
In the pocket.
I remember that. Yeah, I think he was wide open, and I'm like, kick the fucking thing. Look, you're right there. And then he missed it. He gave it to Williams, I think. And the minute he didn't kick, I'm like, yeah, this guy's gone full of confidence.
No, Williams ended up kicking the goal, but there was actually a chance that we could have turned that ball over.
Yeah, I know.
There was a chance we could have turned it over.
But Charlie should have had a shot at goal.
Yes.
Instead of passing it.
Yes.
I was like, fucking kick it.
What would Jeremy Cameron do there?
Go for goal. And he would
unless there's an easy option and he knows that player's definitely going to kick it. But if not, he's going back and he's slotting.
Charlie was lucky that Williams was good enough in the end to turn it into a goal. But, if the Collingwood player hadn't have interfered with him and chopped his arm, he would have stuffed it up.
Exactly. He got the front on contact and he got the free kick, But Charlie's got to kick those goals, mate. That's what you're there for, man.
That's his bread and butter.
That's right.
That's first goal. That really upset me. It was almost like we were done.
He can attempt kicking it from 65 out on an angle, but when it's 40 meters out, just don't bother.
Triggers you.
He can't kick in front of. I'm telling you, in the off season for 6 months, if he's still at Carlton, what he needs to do is 400-500 shots, set shots a day at goal for 6 months straight, every single day, and just practice set shot kicking like Kobe Bryant, mate. Put 1,000 up a day. 1,000 up a day.
And every other player should practice their field kicking. 500 shots a day, mate, because they're disgusting too.
Practice something. Just go.
Hey, Rocco, what did we say last Sunday on Blue Sunday with Vinny Catoggio? Those guys used to train like they played. They had to hit the target. Otherwise, they were berated by the coach.
With Terry, apparently.
Hey, Morris, can I ask you?
Paul apparently yelled at the players or something. He wasn't abusive, nothing. See, if I'm hearing that, and if apparently the players were lethargic and didn't care, then clearly the way that they trained is going to resonate in the game. Like there's a saying that you train the way that you come up play on game day, and clearly the way that they've been training, not giving a fuck and everything. Look what's been happening over the last 3 weeks.
There was no noise out there at the training session. There was no chat. There was no encouragement. There was no voices. There was quiet as a church mouse out there.
You can see it at the ground as well. Usually, you can actually hear players barking orders. You actually through the crowd noise, you can still hear players. If you listen hard enough, you can still hear. Mate, it's like a fucking library out there.
Even the GWS. You know, he's another player too tonight, and even the past few weeks. I don't know if he's playing injured or not, But Jacob Wiedering.
Thank you. Fucking
hell.
He's at a 4-3-4.
And Mike, sorry, Vince.
He's like Cripps. He's like Cripps, mate. He's like Cripps.
Yeah.
He's just over it now.
And I feel he's probably the one I feel a lot sorry for, mate. He has the amount of shit he's had to put up with. Me and Mars said it to each other before the start of one of the quarters. We were like, that is got to be one of the worst fucking back lines I've ever seen.
It was, but it wasn't all. I mean, if you look at Wiedering,
given some of them were young, yes, but fuck me dead, man. What he's had to work with.
It was a weak thing, but I don't reckon Wiedering was that bad tonight. Like,
no, but I think Wiedering,
the way the ball was kept coming in,
he should have been.
Used less. He saved a lot of marks. He saved a lot of
But
goals.
not only that, have a look at Collingwood's disposal. Tonight.
It's always like this. It's like this. It's cutting. They're cutting you up.
But they hit targets.
They hit targets.
Yeah.
Kick the space.
So
into space. That's the thing, man. Always into space they're kicking, mate.
They make it nearly impossible for the defender to defend. Because by the time he's taking it here, the arms here, mate. You can't.
And Rocco, you know your theory of that?
But yeah, extra.
Jamie Elliott was outstretched and
Marking
still
it.
marking him.
Cunt's a fucking gun. He's a superstar.
He's killing it. He's killing it.
But he's been that for a long time. That 35s, those all. You know, he didn't have to be the main man, but now he's turned up to be the main man this year.
And how many contested marks did we drop tonight?
Oh.
You know,
he's a big culprit of that.
How many?
Go, Morris.
How many contested marks should have been, but the kick never got there?
Well, they ended up with 22 contested marks to 7. Seven contested marks for the night.
We had 7, and we arguably had taller, bigger players out there tonight.
100%.
Yeah.
I want to point out a comment from James, and obviously he's watches all the time. He says Wiedering is no leader, though. I don't believe that. I don't. Wiedering is probably the one leader on the field, other than Cripps.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
believe
definitely a leader, man, and he definitely.
I've been calling it for years to make him captain.
Yeah.
Look, Wiedering didn't have all that much support down there. He had young O'Farrell, who was struggling on his opponent.
We got
He
Carroll.
had other young players playing in defence. He didn't have Sard there. He didn't have Silvani there. You know, McGovern had to be put forward eventually, and he's a goose even when he's playing in defence. So, I mean, of course, he's over it. I think both Cripps and Wiedering are over it. They know that the side is cooked. They know that there's very little spirit in the team anymore. And I was going to ask Morris.
Yep.
One of the things that I suspect, and I'm wondering whether you know any more through your sources or not, but one of the things that I strongly suspect about why Michael Voss is now failing as a coach is that he has refused to challenge and get in the faces of his senior players. He's quite happy to tear strips off a young 8-gamer at three-quarter time, like he did against North, but he's not getting into the faces of his leaders. And now, I could be wrong, but they get away with murder out there. And Charlie Curnow is the classic example of a player who thinks he can do anything he likes and there's no consequences, no repercussions. His spot is guaranteed week after week after week, and there's no one else pushing up
there. Blake Acres, he can do.
I guarantee that if this side was coached by Robert Walls or David Parkin, so many senior players would have been dropped, not just once, maybe even twice or 3 times already. And he wouldn't have cared if he had to bring up a Harry Lemmy or a Billy Wilson or any of these guys and give them a go if they deserve it. He would have dropped them purely on their performance, on their lack of leadership, and on the way that they have failed the team as leaders. And they used to drop players all the time back then, all the time. Jezelenko even did it.
Even in regards to Acres, right? Now,
Yep.
he's had a poor year, right?
Shocking.
How bad's his back?
I understand that, but if you're out there on the park,
Shoulders. Yeah.
but
you're out there, mate. You're accountable.
I get that. Like, Akers has been shocking, yeah? But
If he's no good, don't play him.
No,
I
get it,
understand.
but it doesn't
Yeah.
stop running, right?
Yeah.
And I'm an advocate. Even like tonight I was telling people, some people that I sit with and been going to the footy with. I feel sorry, like we go to Port last week, Wilson and Flynn Young, right? Tonight you get O'Farrell, comes back into the side, Flynn Young again, Moya, this and that.
Yeah.
The only way for us to move forward that I believe, you got to look at the other kids that you got. So both Camporelli boys.
Yeah.
Charleston.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bring them in. You either bring them in all together.
I don't think you can.
Why?
Because
you kill
it'll
the
be a
team.
disaster.
Yeah.
Mate,
You don't want to bring
60 points, it'll be 120 points.
Yeah, you don't want to destroy it.
I get that, but it'll be a disaster that they all have done collectively, as opposed to having 3-4 of them and senior players that couldn't give a fuck.
But how many of our
that don't
teams
want to
have
be
done
there?
The thing is,
You've got to be careful, Morris. Even Vinny Katojo said last week, one or two each week. Yeah, bring them in, but not 5 and 6 and 7 freaking first starters.
Too much.
The thing is, right, you've got to implement them slowly, but give them games as well. So you give them a block, like the Camperale, like the first 2 games. I didn't like. All right, his second game he wasn't good, right?
He
wasn't good, but that's on the team as well because they were poor. They sold him. They sold under pressure.
Good in the first game, I reckon.
The first game, I thought he was good. He did 5, 6 out of 10, perfect, right? For a first game, not complaining, right? But the thing is, if you go and bring 5, 6,
fuck that.
you'll end up like West Coast. You'll be conceding 120 points. The thing is, you got to implement them slowly. And I get what you're saying. Now people are going to go to, well, just play the kids now. But if you play them all now, you should have done them at the start of the year, 1s and 2s.
Tonight we did it too much. How much youngsters did we play tonight? 5, 4?
I think it was 5 or
it's too much.
But they were, but they're forced on that as well too. Like what
Yeah,
senior player is in the side other than like Lewis Young and that.
Yeah.
The thing that scares me, all right, is and me and a mate of mine, we talk about this all the time, right? Where's life after Harry and Charlie?
Exactly.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you can say that about many teams. I mean, Richmond, when they won their first premiership, they lost their big forwards and they changed their whole.
They lost Rance.
They lost Rance, but they also lost forwards and they changed their whole forward line, and that's where they got their small forward line and they started that chaos ball, you know. So there's always life after these players, you know what I mean?
I get that, Rocco, but what I'm saying, what I mean by that is we've only realistically got Lemmy on the list. That's a tall forward.
Lewis Young.
Best shot at Carlton.
Even Lemmy isn't that good apparently.
Yeah, but you're not going to give him a go, mate. Charlie and Harry. You're not
I
going
think we should give him a go.
No. But what I'm saying is like, they're both 28.
Yeah,
that's all right. There's plenty of time. I mean, how Jeremy Cameron, what's he? 31, 32?
32.
Yeah, there's still 4 or 5 years, man.
Yeah,
we could
I think you'll be trading one. You'll be trading one.
We could. What was that?
Has Jeremy Cameron sustained the amount of injuries like Charlie? Because
he hasn't had any major injuries.
Yeah, I personally think Charlie's fucked.
He's doing okay.
Wait, so are we in a form of a rebuild?
No, a
No, I
reset.
think reset.
We need a reset.
So what's the difference between a rebuild and a reset?
Rebuild, you're blowing the whole thing up. A reset is like what's that?
You tinker with a few players here and there.
Yeah.
Hawthorn did it.
Yeah,
Come
Hawthorn
on,
did
I
it.
like what Fab
Collingwood
said.
did it.
I
Collingwood
like
did
what
it.
Fab said the
Mate,
other
I'll
day, man.
never forget Hawthorn won the 2013 premiership with Buddy Franklin, and then he left to go to Sydney. They won the next two
and then they won
premierships
the
without him
Yeah, fucking against him as well.
and won 3 in a row.
But not only that, Vince. They had
And he was the number one player in the league.
They had a list. But what did Clarkson do? Clarkson got rid of Sam Mitchell, Luke Hodge, Jordan Lewis.
But not all at once.
That's after they won. That's after they won those 3 premierships.
No, but that is something that the Carlton Football Club will never do. We will look at let's say if Doherty's on 280 games.
Hey, by the way, can I just stop you there? Can I stop you there for a second, Morris? Sam Mitchell went to West Coast. They won the premiership in 2018.
Yep.
Luke Hodge went to Melbourne and helped them change their culture.
Brisbane.
They won in 2021. Luke Hodge went to Brisbane, helped them change their culture by being like an on-field coach, and they eventually won a premiership. I'm telling you now, we've never done that. In the last 10 years, we have not attracted a player from another colour who's experienced success, who understands what a successful culture is all about, and brought them in to instill that same sort of high standard amongst our playing group. We've not done it. We've failed.
Why didn't we do that?
You know who we bring in? We know who we bring in? A goose like McGovern. Right? An imposter like Jack Martin. That's what we do. We bring in all this shit.
I mean, when Brisbane brought in Luke Hodge, I think they made finals or a prelim like 2, 3, 4 years after.
Finals.
Yeah, finals.
But what I'm trying to say is that Chris Fagan brought in Luke Hodge to show these players and be a general in that back line while he was still able to play for 1 or 2 or whatever season. I think he only played for 2 seasons. Now, that instills that sort of thing into a Harris Andrews, right? It instills it into a Dane Zorko. It instills it into Lockie Neal. This is the sort of thing that we've not done.
Hey, they even brought over what's his name, Gunston.
Name me one player on our senior list. One player on our senior list who has experienced premiership success anywhere else. One. Please show me one.
Well, us and Essendon are the only 2 teams to not have a premiership player on their list.
I just got a last little comment.
And that's why Essendon's in the doldrums like we are.
I got a nice little comment here because it's getting to 2:15 and we've been on for 3 hours and a half, and I'm legit tired, and mate, commend all you people for watching us and everyone that
we still got over 100 watching, haven't we?
Yeah, for all the people that have joined, watched, commented, thank you very much. I know it's been a loss and
fucking Carlton.
Another therapy. I try and keep. I'd like to try and keep these just to the matches. I know it's always going to go off track and all that. It's going to find its other ways and all that. But I think it's been a really good night tonight of talking. Boys, I'm using this show as sleep meditation, but it's just making me angry with your good points, lol. So I'm just going to give the floor to everyone here. Your final points we'll go on tonight. What can we do for the next, 7 games? You know my feelings, but what can we do? I don't know. Not to win, or how can they draw you back? Floor's yours.
Start Rocco.
To me, it's just simple, man. Just go out there and give it your best, man, and make us proud. That's all there is. You can't, I don't know about winning or losing. I don't think we're good enough to win many games in the next 9, to tell you the truth. I don't think we're that good, we got some injuries now. So just go out there and give it your best. Let's be serious, man. That's all I want to see from these guys, man. Make it, when you get out there, it's got to mean everything, man. Like that, hit that target, man. Like, I don't know. It all starts tomorrow morning when they go out training, mate. It all starts tomorrow morning when they go out training, mate. Make sure your training's, 100%. Like, but I don't trust this team, and I think they're done mentally for the rest of the year. So I just hope that they show something and we see something from the young kids, and everyone gets ready for next year, man. That's it. They're done.
Vince, hit me with your 1 minute. What can they do?
For a Carlton Collingwood game to be as insipid as I saw tonight signifies the death of the Carlton Collingwood rivalry, at least for the time being. And until this club gets its act together and actually instills from the top down the right sort of people, nothing's going to change. Let me assure you, nothing is going to change. Don't be deceived by what this board ends up doing. It will make changes. It will try and reinstill hope and your dreams of a premiership one day back into you by appointing people here, there, and everywhere. But this team is done. This coach, I think, is done. I don't see any spirit at all. For a Carlton Collingwood game to have had such a lackluster feel about it for the entire night is something I've never seen before. Probably not since Mick Malthouse coached that game 10 years ago. And 3 weeks later, he was sacked. So I'm sorry, but this season's finished. We're now 6-10. We can't make the finals. Forget all of that. Start booking your holidays.
Seba.
Just fight. Show that you care. To the players that actually want to be there, show that you give a fuck about the emblem. That's all I want to see for the rest of the year. That's all I care about.
They don't.
Fight for us.
They don't care.
Fight for us.
They don't care, Seba. They don't care about the contract, mate.
I said it on Blue Abroad and Monday Blues. Just play a brand of footy that would make people proud and happy. Like, just
that won't change.
Give it your. I know, but like, just give it your all and just try and set something up. Set something up for us to see for fucking next year. Literally, like, I don't.
It's unwatchable at the moment. Don't you think it's unwatchable? You enjoy watching Carlton games right now?
It's
seriously.
disgusting.
Do you enjoy watching Carlton play?
No, I just force myself to go. But literally,
we all do.
Just play with pride, man. Like, they talk about the fans, but I feel like they're pissing all over us. Do they even fucking
they
care?
do?
They don't care, man. Just fucking make someone proud. I don't know.
Morris, end us off. End us off.
I'd go back to old school. Bring your mouthguard to training. And actually do educational pieces in regards to history of the club, what it means. I'd have some legends of the club.
Morris, they should be doing that when they first get to the club as part of an initiation, but they don't.
Let him finish.
No, but
let him
they
finish.
probably do. Get the superstars of the club to actually come in and say, and if they need to be berated, not berated in regards to embarrassed, or just turn around and say, you guys have the biggest responsibility, okay, in respecting that jumper. Do you guys actually know what's written on the jumper?
Do you want me to read it? Do you want me to read it?
I have no idea.
I'll read it. But actually, I'll bring it towards me. When you put on this Guernsey, the monogram on the front is more important than the number on the back.
And instill that into the club. And I'll leave it on a note. I want two more things to say. If we talk Liverpool, when Jurgen Klopp got to Anfield, in the players' race, there's a big sign. This is Anfield. And the players used to walk past and tap it.
They still do.
They didn't touch it for his first year.
He barred it until you win the title. You are not worthy of touching that, because great sides have put that there for Anfield. All right, and I raised with Mars and Rocco. I raised this question tonight. Right, out of our playing group, our playing list, right, and I'm not just talking about the guys that represented us tonight, right? And for everyone in the chat, really think about in 10, 15 years, who from the playing group will be sitting in the stands with us coming to watch the Blues?
No one's going to be standing with us, I'll tell you that much.
Like we see David Rees-Jones at the footy, and we see Ange and Kuda and Fev and
Steve. Jed Lamb gets down there with Pusser, with Nick Graham.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who
I love the
who
club.
from this list do you reckon will be there in 15 years' time? 10,
Silvani.
15 years watching us?
None.
Silvani,
Crips
that's
will be on
about
a
it.
farm somewhere.
Yeah, Silvani, that's it.
Crips will be on a farm.
I reckon Ollie Hollands. I reckon
He
we
goes
don't
for the
give-
club. Yeah.
I reckon, and Cowan as well too is a man.
Nah, Ollie Hollands will be broken too. You watch.
You know who I
gonna
reckon
break.
would? You know who
Ollie
I reckon
Hollands still be
would? Matt
playing.
Cottrell.
Matt Cottrell.
Yeah.
Cottrell, yeah.
Pussa.
Well,
Anyway.
I love it. I love it. That has been the first emergency meeting. So if you like the format, give us a like, share, subscribe, hit
face
the
is
bell
Austin?
notification. There is a live TJP stage show at the end of the year as well. We've got Brad Pierce locked in. We're working on another guest. I know Rocco.
Oh, he's a big one. It's a big
he's
one.
He's always scheming, Rocco, as he is. So yeah, make
Just
sure
like you
hit-
are.
What? Huh?
Just like you are.
Yeah, working in the shadows. Also, check out Blue Sunday. Well, that'll be on Sunday now, not Monday or any day after that. Blue Sunday with Vince Lochisano, David Rees-Jones back.
Yeah.
And who else
Yep.
is there? Not Vinny.
Joe Lutzer.
He's still on.
And our very special permanent
Seba.
guest from now on, Seba.
I love you,
Seba.
Vince.
I
Thank
love
you,
it.
Vince. I love you.
Also,
We love having you, Seb.
check out Tuesday night, 7 p.m. You know where to find us if you haven't already. And if you're new in this chat right now, make sure you join that chat at 7 o'clock. That's going to be a bumper to bumper again. I'm sure
Got a
there'll be
super
plenty
chat.
of Collingwood supporters. Make sure you check out what else we got. Oh, we got Forever Rivals. We've got
For rivals.
And now
Scotty's
this
been taking the hosting for a while, so
Yeah.
Scotty's
Where is
there.
Scotty? I haven't even seen him.
Yeah, he disappeared.
He's picking up some friends tonight, actually.
Yeah, he was going to be in here.
Who's
but
your
he
guest?
messaged
Who's your
me.
guest on the Jumper Punch on Tuesday night?
I have got a guest already booked in. Should we tell him?
Adam Simpson.
Come on.
It's up to you. If you want to tell me, tell
Hey,
me.
listen, if anyone's still up at 2:22 a.m., they deserve to
They
know.
deserve it.
Well, it's Monday Blues favorite son. Which one do you reckon it is?
George.
Andy.
I have to be Andy.
George.
Oh,
Georgie.
George.
Dynamic.
I
just-
reckon
and
Andy
before-
might. I reckon Andy might take offence at that one, Rocco.
George is a broken man.
He is broken. He
Yeah,
is.
poor guy.
No, we love
go,
George. George is fantastic. George is fantastic.
I didn't put this up earlier, but this was on the back of Peter V. The triple cheeseburger Kerno. Thank you for the $2.99 there, Mr. Morris. There. And Dynamic Hypnotic hitting us with a $5 donation. Our board and its puppeteers are responsible for this.
Bring
weak
back
culture
Josh
nothing will
Bootsman
change
by the looks of
until
his
they're gone. They
his
have
profile
gone.
picture.
So, on that note, because we could go all night, thank you very much. And thank you, everyone in the chat. Again, hit the like, subscribe, comment. I don't know, shove it on fucking
And
Carlton.
tell all your friends about this, because now
that's
you've got
it. Next
somewhere else
week.
to go after every Carlton game.
Yeah,
Next week.
new format.
Oh,
all right.
Brisbane.
So see
Go
you
the
Thursday
Blues.
night, Seba.
Yeah.
See you
Love
See you
you.
Thursday night.
Love
See
you
ya.
and leave
See you
you.
Sunday, Vince.
Oh,
Thank you
another
very
week.
much.
Go the Blues.
See you Sunday.
Another
Go the
weekend
Blues.
broken.
Go the Vikings.
Cheers, boys.